Hi everybody, hope you're well. Welcome to day 2. So I've come on 29, give people a chance to log on. So for those of you registered, hopefully you can log on now. Hello everybody. And if you're seeing this on your feed and it's showing up and it looks interesting, definitely click in, join in with us. And definitely feel free to talk to us in the chat. Hi everybody, it's Ademola for 1000 Black Boys. This is our October event. This is day 2, day number 2. So it's now 3:30. I'm going to give people about another 2 to 3 minutes to log on and to join us. So thank you all for being on. Thank you for being on. Great to have you on. We've got an exciting day planned. Yesterday was phenomenal, and today is going to be even better. It's going to be even better. So yeah, thank you for being on. Thank you for being early, on time, while I drink my my cup of hot water. Yeah. And yeah, comment to us. Like, send us some comments. If you were on yesterday, how did you find yesterday? Which part of the presentation today are you looking forward to? So let me share this with you so you know what we're doing today. So yeah, hi there, Michelle. Thank you for being on. Welcome, welcome, welcome. Welcome on. So this is day 2. Day 2 of 2020 is not cancelled. And I'll also share a bit about why that topic or why that theme for this session. And we've got some absolutely phenomenal lineup of speakers. So for those of you that are on, I'm just going to give people some more chance to come along and join us. And Michelle, I absolutely will recap yesterday. I'll definitely recap yesterday. What were you doing yesterday? Were you working? Were you out just enjoying the lovely weather? Yeah. So I'm going to recap yesterday just to catch you up and so you can get a feel for what we covered with yesterday's speakers. And then I'm also going to give you an introduction to who's speaking today, what we're discussing. I'll talk you through the agenda. Brilliant. So thank you for coming on. And for those of you that are on, if you could be really, really amazing and just share this. So just press the share button. If you are on Facebook, do that. If it's on Twitter, or if you are on YouTube, please share this so that we reach more people. So it's 32. I'm going to start very, very shortly. And also like it. Yeah, because you had lots of people come on and they saw it. It'd be great if you like it or give us some reactions. So my name is Ademola, Michelle. It's Ademola. And this is 1000 Black Boys 2020, October. So very, very shortly, I'm going to just literally go into this and give you an introduction. And we have an amazing speaker lined up. And hopefully she'll have her daughter in the session with us today as well. They're doing some incredible things with this within the organization. Alrighty, so it's 33. So let us begin. It's moving. There we go. Awesome. So welcome to day 2 of 1000 Black Boys. So this is our October event, and this is our 3rd online event. And we've done 5 events in total, 2 physically. Actually, both of them were in Croydon. And after the lockdown, we just literally moved things online. We had plans of actually doing one of our events in at Stoke Newington Sixth Form in May. Obviously, everything was locked down, so we did our first virtual one in June. So just a bit of background to us about who we are and why we do what we do. So who we are is we're a group of coaches, entrepreneurs, business professionals, brothers, sisters, sons, daughters, people just like you that have a real passion for making a difference within our community. And specifically within our vision and our project, we want to make a difference to Black boys and young Black men. We see that as a really powerful way to impact the whole of the UK and to impact the whole of the planet. So that's our vision. So That's our message. And even though we speak specifically to black boys and young black men, we also know like it takes a village to raise a child, like it takes a whole community to make a difference. So our events are always open to parents, grandparents, sisters, uncles, every single person that's also as passionate as we are about that generation. So our events are always open to every single person. And while some of our content will also be for parents as well as the young boys and the young men, because the parents provide the environment in which these young leaders grow up in. And I think our first session really deals with that perfectly. Okay, so things for you to know is that we're very much about potential, vision, power. That is what we're about. So we're not about people being angry, being afraid, or being confused. With the work that I do, so as well as what I do with 1000 Black Boys, I run a company called Get Hench, which is actually the parent company from where we started 1000 Black Boys from. So we do lots of coaching with people. And a couple of things you should know about how your brain works is there's a part of your brain in the center which gets triggered very, very quickly. It's the part that gets angry, the part that reacts. Maybe sometimes you reacted to something and you don't quite know why you're angry, but you're just annoyed. You're like, why am I annoyed? It's because this part of the brain has been triggered. And what happens sometimes is when that part of the brain gets triggered, you get angry, you're afraid, and you're confused. And you don't really have control fully over your actions. We don't want you to use that part of your brain. We want you to use another part of your brain, the frontal lobe, this part, where you can get to have vision, you get to create incredible ideas and do things that are absolutely phenomenal, and you get to dream. So we're about you utilizing that part of your brain. And we know that, society has this view of black boys and young black men. We see it in the media, we see it in the schooling system, we see it in our environment. So we're literally about, we see that, and we also see the big, huge, powerful potential. And that's really what we're about as a team and as an organization. And we are a registered CIC, so we're a community interest company. So let me share our vision with you. The short version of our vision is that we exist to inspire black boys and young black men to unleash their potential and to live a life of purpose. The full version is that we exist to empower and enable black boys and young black men to discover their greatness, to unleash their uniqueness, to innovate, and to create things that have never been done before. We want them to have the audacity to dream big, and in so doing, transform the world. So this will be a quick recap of yesterday. So we had Jazz come on really early on, and Jazz spoke about finances. He spoke about his experience of growing up. From 11 to 17, he was a semi-professional footballer. And he was about to sign a contract, age 17, and the new manager pulled the contract. Just completely pulled the contract. So as a 17-year-old, his dream was dashed. But he didn't stop there. He then continued and built a business, a property business that's now £3 million plus. And he was sharing his expertise and his wisdom concerning finances, concerning money, concerning how to invest. And he also introduced us to the money tracker that he set up, which is available for you to look at. You can get the details of all of our speakers from our website, and you can follow up with them. And then after Jazz spoke, I did a session on the power of perception and how your perception determines your action. And I identified the 5 things that shape your perception, which is past experiences, the people around you, your future expectations, so your hopes and your dreams, really important. Your environment, really, really key, really, really key. And also the information that you expose yourself to. So all these 5 things shape your perception. And I did a session on that. And I also introduced, I'll talk about this later on, we've launched a program for black boys and young black men with Get Hench. So it's for 10 black boys. It's for 6 weeks. It's partially funded, and I'll talk more about that later on. And then we had a guy called Nana come on. He spoke about disabilities for black boys and how to thrive and not just survive, but have to be powerful in that circumstance and in that situation. And he gave some really helpful tips. His details is also available on the 1000 Black Boys website. And then we did a final session with a team of Wasted Talents, a bunch of young creatives, musicians, actors, doing incredible things. We had an amazing director who's a 17-year-old boy come on and talk about his work and what he's doing. So that was yesterday. And today we're going to start off with Marcia. I'm going to bring her on very, very shortly. So Marcia is from Ultra Entrepreneurs, Ultra Education. And she's going to just share her wisdom with us. And the really great thing as well is Marcia has also got her daughter on the line with us. Just so you can see the power of parents that have their children's back and allow them to dream and look to the future. So let me bring them on.
Hi.
Hiya.
Hello.
Hi there. Can you hear us very well?
I can hear you clearly.
Perfect. Thank you. And thank you so much for having us on.
My pleasure. Thank you for being on. Thank you. Hello. How are you doing?
Hiya.
So I'm going to give you, I'll let you do an introduction, but just a bit of background. The organization that Marcia is connected to, they work with young people to start their businesses. So they work with children as young as 8 years old. Is it 8?
Seven.
So from 7 upwards to essentially set up and start businesses. When I heard that, I thought, yep, that is interesting, because I see that a key part of transforming this environment will be entrepreneurship. It will be allowing young people to dream and to create ideas. And not just ideas that are like before, but things that we've never seen before that are revolutionary. So I just love their story and what they're about. So I'm going to throw it over to you, Marcia. Just a quick introduction, who you are, what you do, why you do it, and who's that amazing person next to you.
Okay, thank you. So my name is Marcia Escoffery, and this is my daughter, Anya Escoffery Courtenay. So really, if I track back just for a moment, so my daughter Anya is now 15, but she actually started in Ultra Kids Club, because it was called that back then, 4 years ago. So she was 11, and I got an email in my inbox. I don't know where it came from, and it talked about an entrepreneurial club for children. So I was very aware that my daughter always had a lot of ideas. She was baking at 6 and 7, and I was always encouraging her to do it better. She could read. I taught her to read before she got to school. And I said to her, just have a go, get better. And at that point, she was very good. And all the family had thought so. We'd have functions and they would ask, oh, can you make this? Can you make that? So I sent her along to the Croydon Club. And the very first Sunday, I think it was, she really, really loved it. So she did the 6 weeks, came up with the solid idea of her gluten-free, sugar-free, and vegan cakes and bakes. And yeah, so when that program was finished, she wanted to do another program and another one. And then I thought, well, seeing as she enjoys it so much, one of the things that Anya said to me was she liked being around her peers. So I allowed it. Because I thought I could see that it was giving her a spark. She was always enthused and always talking about, okay, how she's going to launch her first business. And at their very first summer fair, she launched Marvelous Marples, which was her first venture. And that's how my journey in Ultra Education started. So I started as a parent. I was already a coach teaching singing performance, and my style of coaching organically is as a mentor and a guide. Just, you know, my way with children from since I was 18, since I was 10, my mum used to send me next door, might sound strange, to watch over the neighbor's children because of how we were raised, responsible. So we were just having a discussion. My daughter said to me, I was working before you because I was working at 11. And I said, no, actually, I was working at 10 because I used to babysit the children next door. So we were just having that bit of, hold on, I started before you know, because officially I started working at 14, which is a
Really?
long time. Yes, I did. I mean, you couldn't do that now. The checks were very different. Myself and my late sister we got a job. We signed up at an agency, and we used to do sort of care work, different places. And I remember one summer we worked in Kensington. We used to love it, going on the bus from Wandsworth, taking I think it was the 49, and just enjoying ourselves. You know, being on the high street, observing people. So yeah, it was great being around other people and doing what we were doing and having fun. Actually, it sounds strange, but we were actually having fun whilst taking responsibility for what we were doing. So that was the start.
Brilliant, brilliant. And just to ask, I'll definitely get to Anya very, very shortly. But Marcia, I'm asking this question with a view to the parents that are out there. They've got these creators in their house. They've got incredible ideas. And maybe sometimes these children are so creative, the parents can't keep up. What was it about you that allowed Anya to pursue that rather than say, why don't you try something else? What was it about you?
I would say is that I have an ethos of championing her. I give her free reign within context. I know that might sound a little strange. So I've observed from a young girl, as well as I also implemented it myself. So I used to work full-time before I had my daughter. And once I had her, I chose to work part-time. So that's a day on, day off. And on the 2 days off, which is the Tuesday and the Thursday, I would take her to clubs where she could do art, sing, etc. Also at home, I had a creative corner. Now that could be because I'm a creative, as in I'm a singer. So I've come from a creative background, but my initial thought, so it's not because I read it in a book, was to have tools that she could explore. So that's all your paper, your paint. She could make as much mess as she wanted, but she always had to be responsible for clearing up. I'd say it's tidy up time now, and put it all away. So she could do a lot of exploring. So that's just a mindset. I allowed her to explore.
So the key thing I got from that is you gave her free reign within context. So you allowed her to go for it. So there was a context behind it, and you let her go.
Yeah, let her go. Yeah. So whereas some people may say, "Oh no, you can't do that. You can't do that." As long as she recognized, even as a toddler, so you're talking 16 months and up, that if she does A, so I'd say, come this way, now let's put them back in the box. I was teaching her to understand responsibility very early on. You can do it, but now you're going to put them back in their containers and we're going to clean it up. And as she got older, it was completely her job to clean up and tidy it and put it back as she had found it the morning before.
Perfect. That's really good. Well, Anya, very nice to have you on. I know it's the person that we're speaking. So just tell us a bit about you and your business journey so far.
Well, I started, as you said, when I was 11, but I think just having a creativity and like learning the responsibility from the beginning and seeing the creativity.
And just to ask, would you mind coming a bit closer to the mic?
Okay. Let me move it.
Thank you.
So just learning from since I was very young, just being able to express creatively has really helped me to just really see that there is really no limit. So I started with gluten-free, vegan and sugar-free cakes and bakes. And then I started in, I think, motivational speaking. Was it after that?
You started as a motivational speaker?
Yeah.
Second, it was number 2.
Second. So then.
Second one.
Yeah. And I think also what's really good is if you can just explore literally everything that you would like to, because I did motivational speaking for a very short time. I didn't like it. I had lots to say, but I didn't like public speaking. So then I decided, I want to do something else. And then I kind of left that kind of speaking side. But then I've also come back to it in a way with a blog I started about sustainability called Sustainably Optimistic. And then starting that blog has become like a voice for me. So, and also it's really important to, in business, no matter what business you're starting, to have a voice in it, whether you're just creating something that's really from your heart, or you're writing, or you're creating video content, or even just graphic content. Having a voice in some way, shape or form to make so that you know that what you're doing is yours is so important. and I've just had free reign. My mother has always instilled confidence in me. No matter what, if I say, Mom, I'm going to do, she's like, okay, you can do that. Like, that's totally cool. And she's always supported me through absolutely everything. So having one person, just one, it doesn't need to be 10 people, having one solid person who can say to you, you can do that. And then knowing it yourself, and you can literally do absolutely anything.
Amazing.
So, yeah.
That's brilliant. And it also sounds like you've tried different things. And can I say that not all of them have worked, but you've kept them going?
Not even that. So the first business I had was Marvelous Marbles, and I had had it for about 2 years, and I definitely could have gone a lot further with it, but it was no longer my passion and it wasn't calling me. So being able to stop for a second and say, you know, is this really what I want to be doing right now?
Mm-hmm.
And then because I didn't do that and I moved into other things, it's taken to me where I am now to find something that I really love.
Awesome. Just looking at some of the comments as well. For those of you that add, if you've got some questions, please feel free to send them through, and we will try and cover that in our session. And to also ask you this as well. So there's this thing about, you said that your mum instills confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Tell us more about that.
Oh, okay. So I think just instilling confidence, it's not really as, I think it's more like an ethos in terms of when you just truly believe in someone, you automatically instill confidence in that person. So by looking at this person and saying, I know you can do that. When you say, I know you can do that, when she says this to me, I'm like, okay, yeah, I can do that. And then being able to back it up with your own confidence, because as much as someone else can tell you that you can do something, you have to know it in yourself. Like just with my upbringing, because my mum never said to me, you know, you can't do that. She's always said, you can do that. And she had, and at the same time being incredibly realistic to give me a really well-rounded perspective of the world. It's so important just to instill confidence at the same time, give a well-rounded perspective of the world in terms of balance of optimism, pessimism, things like this, and you know, you'll be set.
Can I interject there just for a second?
Of course you can.
So it's something that Anya's not saying. So the reason for the focus on confidence in Anya is she was a bullied child, right? From primary school. So what you have is a quiet child that has this demeanor of warmth, but not always speaking up. So part of that journey was I moved her 4 times, but on the 4th time to a local outstanding school, she was bullied within 2 weeks. I said, that's it now. I'm drawing the line. We will fight it out. And what that meant was, it meant that every day, even though I did it prior to that, I was constantly, the minute I caught eyes with her and would walk her home, I would say, how was your day? What happened? So there has been a relationship of always checking in. How are you? It was also about Anya being very conscious of her surroundings. Sometimes I would stand in the playground and observe her with others and then have a conversation to say, okay, I saw A. This is how you could have handled it. I've also been a very honest parent. People tried to bully me because I was tall and very skinny. And when they thought I didn't have a roar, I would then stand up and that person may have been this height. And then I would really firmly say what I needed to. So one of the things I have consciously done as a parent is teach my daughter how to speak up. And even when Anya joined Ultra, she would always speak very quietly. And when we did some of the first talks, I would have to be at the back saying, speak louder. But the more Anya has grown in confidence herself, and more passionate about what she's talking about, her voice really comes out. And especially in the writing the blog about sustainability, which she's extremely passionate about, it's all there. It's all there. But it has been a journey for the physical speaking. And now that voice that was once very quiet, like, hello, it's a lot louder and much more present.
Brilliant. There's so many things that we can definitely cover. So just for the parents that are out there with the young people in your house. So we were saying this yesterday, that don't just look at them as like these small people. These are leaders in your house. And what I hear in what Marcia and Anya are talking about is that Marcia sees Anya as this incredible leader, and she speaks into that, and she reinforces that with her words, and she reinforces that with her actions. So that's a perfect example for the parents that are out there. You've got these creators in your house that are thinking of all these ideas. Encourage those visions and those dreams, and encourage them to do things that you are not doing or haven't done before, because it does make a difference. It does make a huge difference. And right before you, so we have two amazing people here that are doing things along those lines. So that's something that I really want to emphasize to all those that are watching right now, and for those that will watch it later on. And also as well, so in terms of bullying, for those of you that don't know, I was bullied in primary school. So I was this kid that came to London from Nigeria, and when I was younger, I got told that, hey, you got an accent. I was like, I thought my English was really good. They're like, no, you got an accent. I was like, what do you mean an accent? They're like, see how you sound? Like, yes. Listen to how we sound. Yeah. That difference, that's an accent. I was like, oh, okay. And then I got bullied. And the reason why I say that is you don't have to let that past experience diminish you.
That's right.
You don't have to let those experiences stop your light and your power from shining. So I'm an example, and look, there's another example right there.
Yeah.
So just to say that to young people that are experiencing that in school or around you, and also to parents that are experiencing that with your young ones. So just to let you know, the future is bright. Keep going.
Can I add something to that?
Totally.
So we talked about some things that we could talk about today. So when it comes to that, resilience, you can get over it. So this is the old story about being bullied and people telling you are not enough, you're too quiet, you're too this. I was told as a teenager, you're too sensitive. It's because I'm an empath. I'm very much able to look in, observe people before jumping in feet first. So that means that you're just a bit more aware. There's nothing wrong with that. But sometimes people have this fake facade. So then what happens is, where is the turning point? Where is the turning point for the individual? There has to have one. Otherwise, you will always be the victim, and that cannot be. So it's about changing the dialogue for yourself. That it's all good and well people saying it to you, but you have to get to that point of self-empowerment and change that dialogue for yourself. And that comes with nurturing, it comes with care, it comes with support. Yes, it comes with all those things. Or sometimes you just have to dig deep and do it yourself. So that's something about resilience. There's also passion and purpose. What is your passion and what is your purpose? So if I give a brief example, I had a career as a chef, a professional chef, working in the city, doing nouveau cuisine, fine dining, etc. The turning point was when my sister passed away, 1999, September. In 2000, in the March, I literally hanged up my jacket, took my knives, left all my chef clothes there, left my boots, etc., and walked away and stopped for a minute to pause to say, what can I do now that is more purpose-filled and purposeful? I set up a band. I started creating music. I'd never been a songwriter before. That was directly in line with the trauma of losing my sister at that point. And I started to write songs that I shared in prison. So I got into prison work, working with youth offenders, etc. So I used what was tragic to express myself, but also to share my story that actually had a positive impact on young people, young offenders. It's at the same point pretty much that I got into doing workshops in schools and colleges. That turning point is actually what's led me into coaching and mentoring full time. Okay. So passion and purpose, turning point, resilience, these things can all lead into each other, into finding what it is that you are here to do and the impact you may wish to make. You don't need to be somebody on, having 1 million followers, but you can decide to do things in your community and have that voice and share with others. And I think I said it when I spoke to you in the week a couple of days ago. when I had my daughter and I had become unwell, if I didn't know how much I had impacted my students, somehow a number of them caught wind of it, and they turned up at the hospital in my private room, and they were all just piling in. And I was like, what is happening here? And they said, Miss, they used to call me Madam back then. I worked at Sacred Heart in Camberwell.
Right.
Heard you were sick, etc. So I realized without any shadow of a doubt at that point, the impact I'd made on my ex-students' lives for them to come and seek me out when they heard I was poorly and come over and pay me a visit. So when you do things from the heart and you're impactful, you will never fool a young person that you are not there. So that's the same with your child. My daughter and the students that I have taught, which is in excess of probably about 8,000 students over the years, probably closer to 10 or more. They understand that when I enter a classroom or they're doing a one-on-one, or if I've got 3 in a room, at that moment, my language shows them that I am there 100%.
Amazing.
Yeah. And that's how we need to be with our children. There's nothing my child can't do. And even also the words of, if you do something, do not feel embarrassed or ashamed to tell me. You always come to me first. And it's the same with my students. You can talk to me. And that's how I think as parents, we need to be available, not brush them off, not push them in a corner, not push the tablet in their hand or the phone. And I think that has its place, but you need to have speaking, communicative relationship to have a young leader empowered. It comes from talking. Yeah, it comes
Amazing. Amazing. Anya, anything you want to say about that?
No, I think you've pretty much covered it, but just in general, always empowering your child and letting them know that they can always come to you no matter what is such an important and key thing. I've had friends who said, oh no, I can't possibly say that to my parent. And it's like, you have to be able to build a trust relationship that no matter what, you can always come to your parent, because first and foremost, that's, who you should be able to go to, or we should always have someone in your life that you can go to no matter what.
Brilliant. And also something that you said, Marcia, and I can certainly see that with Anya, you spoke about passion and purpose.
Yes.
And then you spoke about this turning point for you.
That's
and
right.
We've got an amazing person actually online, Melissa. We used to work together, and for me as well, that's a massive thing. So similarly, like last year, I used to work for a very successful conference and events company as a sales director, and there were so many days I'm walking towards the office, and there was what I call a dull ache. I had this sense of there's a dull ache, like there's an emptiness in the thing that I'm doing right now. Whilst it's okay, but it's not the best I could do.
Yes.
And I just knew that I'm doing okay, but I'm surviving this. I'm surviving this thing called life.
Yes.
And there were so many days I'm approaching the door and I'm about to pull the door handle. And as I pull the door, I walk into the office, and there's that like, oh, is this all that there is? And then I went part-time, and then I resigned.
Yes.
So now I'm doing this, and I'm doing what I do with Get Hench and with my other businesses, and it's fulfilling. It's so fulfilling. Mm-hmm. Can you say more about that for the parents and the children that are watching us? The power of passion and purpose.
All right. So then that leads into daring to dream. Did you have a dream as a child, teenager, young adult growing up that's not fulfilled? If you're not living a purpose-filled life, you are doing what you just said. You're going along, and that is an existence. It's not the same. You need to be purpose-filled. Otherwise, that affects your home life. It affects everything. You'll come in, you'll be grumpy. You'll open the door, and your partner or wife or husband may greet you, and you'll be like, oh,
yeah.
that is an indicator that you are not living a fulfilled life. When you're passionate, you are talking about it. There's almost not enough hours in the days to plan, to deliver what it is you're here to do. It is endless. So finding your purpose, so that an aspect of that is knowing yourself and understanding why you are here. What am I here to do? It wasn't the chefing. that story died, that literally the minute my sister passed away, I realized I had to make a difference. I had to do something else. And that led me, it was a simple request. Can you do a workshop? I said yes. Bingo. Connecting to others, empowering others. And if you don't know, you can discover, you can look at, what do I love? What am I about? Who do I represent? What haven't I done? What did I want to do when I was younger, etc.? Or is there something new? What needs doing in the world? These are some questions we can ask ourselves. But if your parents are unfulfilled, to be honest, you will have an unhappy household. Parents need to be living a purpose-filled life. They need to understand themselves and why they are here, because then how can you empower your children?
Totally. Just putting this up.
Does that answer your question?
It does answer my question. It certainly does answer my question. And let me also ask this as well. So somebody asked earlier, I'm going to pin this question. So the part of it is, how do you think other parents can help their children that are experiencing bullying?
Okay. So firstly, you need to be aware of your children and have that open dialogue. Now, for me, it was that connection and letting my child know that I would do everything in my power to protect her. So that has always been something my daughter has known. So one of the things I've done is always get the email, very detailed email to the school, or find the officer that is in charge of welfare, etc. So you need to go through the school policy, get that interview with the school. So what schools have a habit of is ignoring you. You must insist on a personal meeting. So they can spend 3 weeks. At one situation we had, it was 9 weeks before I had a meeting. I had a personal friend who was a family officer on the call. I was in the interview with the staff members, but I had a professional who has psychotherapy background, etc., on the interview with me. So I was there physically. She was on the phone asking questions as to what they are going to do about their bullies, and also know the school policy on bullying. So that means parents need to be informed. Do not let it slide. Or you can approach the class teacher at the end of the school day, pull them aside in the playground and say, I understand because my child has told me this has happened. But do not leave it there. Even if you have the conversation, put it in writing. The writing creates a trail. If they don't respond, or if they call you, you need to ask them to email you back, because that's a clever trick that schools use. They don't respond by email because they don't want a trail. You email.
Right.
Do you see what I mean?
That's really good. So what you said there is read the school's policy.
Yes.
And then write them an email, like a detailed email, and then request to have a face-to-face conversation with them so it doesn't drag along and get missed in the ether somewhere.
That's right. And if they don't respond within 10 days, email again. Do that several times until they respond. They need to acknowledge your email. The minute they have done that, it means that your case is logged. You need to get a response by email from the school. I've always done it that way. And then you need a face-to-face.
Awesome. That's really good. And then tell me about this part, because I definitely agree with you. So yet again, for those that are listening, the power of daring to dream.
Absolutely. All right. So I'm going to give the example of now, right now. We are in fact, the title of 2020 is not cancelled.
No.
Right, exactly. In the current situation that we are in, what can we do? What is it you want to do? Right? So we can ask ourselves a string of questions. And what would you dare to do? Right? So don't think that I can't. Replace that with I can. And you can. So this is where you vision. This is where even as adults, we can mind map. What do I want to do? What's bursting in my heart? What do I want to get out there? What is that content? What is that thing? You know, somebody might say, I want to work with the homeless. I've noticed that this is happening. If you've noticed it, what can you do about it? What can you solve? What problem can I solve if I do A? That's a business right there. Look at how can I do it? Make inquiries, i.e. research. If we can say this to young people, it's exactly the same thing for elders. Doesn't matter if you're 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, you have something to give. Understand that and go for it. So that also means you need to do something, action. So it needs to come from the thought, mouth, physical. So that's you're writing a plan, and then action in it.
Brilliant, 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 brilliant. And about ultra education. So let's say a parent is listening to that and they're like, "Oh, I'm really inspired. I love it." So they don't just sit there and stay with their inspiration that might go in a few days' time. How can they get involved with ultra education? How can they get their children on that journey?
That's a good question. At the moment, ultra education, and you can just type in ultra education. They have programs running for 14 weeks. We've already started, but it doesn't matter. You can jump on. Now, it's a funded program, so that's very fortunate for parents. It means that they don't have to put their hands in their pocket. So we are now running a program for 7 to 12-year-olds and 12 and above, so up to the age of 18. So we have different age groups. We are running the entrepreneurial course for young people right now. So that's Monday to Thursday after school. So the time would either be 4:30 to 6 or 5:30 to 7 for the older children.
Okay, awesome. And is that virtual? Or is that physical?
No, it's virtual.
Virtual.
Yes, exactly. Yes. No, it's virtual. So right here, you'll see me just like this doing a Zoom call coaching. So I have 4 groups at the moment that I'm personally coaching with an assistant, and Shay, who's Julian Hall's wife, she's coaching, and there's other coaches also delivering the course. And so I forgot to say, I got into coaching for Ultra, even though I do other interpersonal coaching because I work for myself, I have my own business, because I was asked to. So basically, Julian had noticed when I would be asked to sort of support open days, etc. I would go where I was needed, either on the tables working with children or talking to parents. And I don't think he was fully aware at the time that I was actually already a coach and I had years and years experience coaching. So he said, "Oh, I think you're very good. Can you do some coaching for us?" And I said, "Yes." And I've been doing it for some time now.
That's brilliant. That's brilliant. So for those of you that are listening, so there's currently a program right now with Ultra Education for 7 to 12-year-olds up to 18.
Yeah. So what happens is, so if I just say 7 to 18, and in fact, one of the programs is up to 20, we split the groups. So we've got programs running right through to February. So it started, so we're on a week's break. The week after is week 3, but you can still join now. We will catch you up.
Awesome. And so a great key thing that Marcia said there is that they've got some funding towards it, which means that they can make it free for parents.
Yeah.
So for parents that are listening and you've got one of these little creative entrepreneurs in your house, that's a perfect program for your child, your young leader in your house, to essentially go on. And you can go to the website, Ultra Education, to find out more about that.
That's right.
And we'll also put this information on the 1000 Black Boys website so you can access that information as well. So I'm going to say completely jump at that. And it's also really key to know, even though this program is free, some programs you pay for.
That's right.
I'm sure there's many programs that Marcia has done, that Anya has done, that have paid for these programs. Yeah. Because those programs are investments.
That's right.
That's costs. Investments. Can you say a bit about that, Marcia and Anya? The things you have to pay for.
Go on.
Investments. Well, in terms of investments, I think investing in some kind of education. So aside from just mainstream education, investing in courses, reading books, or just if you start a business and you want a website and then you have to pay for that website, there are so many things that if you view these purchases as investments, which they are, it becomes 10 times more like, wow, I'm really getting something. So there's so many things that you can do. You can attend events, and also going to Ultra Education has also put us with a lot of contacts as well. Being able to go to the Palace, meet Prince Andrew for the launch of Idea, as well as just Level 39 in Canary Wharf, and we went to a conference. So just in general, making these investments in places where, or kind of ways that you can meet like-minded people always yield benefits. And even if the benefit doesn't yield until maybe a month from then, maybe you go to an event and then you meet one person, this person says, oh, let me contact you. You don't hear from them for a month, and then they contact you, and then there's something amazing that comes out of it. So seeing everything as an investment, and then you do end up getting returns for a lot. And also actually investing in shares and things. Just in general, making sure that whatever you're doing, think about the future, but also think about what you can do right now. So taking into account that, say, if you started working and you made a certain amount of money, you think, what am I going to do with this? Am I going to go out and buy a new pair of sneakers, or can I invest this somewhere? And can I invest in my future, which will inevitably be my present? So so looking at everything as an investment and going from there is really important.
Brilliant. Thanks, Anya. Brilliant. Thanks for that. You're proof of it that it works. So it's not, you're not talking about theory or something that you got from a book. You've actually experienced it and lived it. So it makes a huge difference to hear it from your perspective. So thank you very much. And also, what I do want to say, so thank you both for being on. And so for those of you that are watching this, I think it's pretty amazing that a 15-year-old just comes onto a show like this and she's just talking, right? Because the person that I spoke with initially was Marcia, and Marcia said, yeah, I can bring my daughter along. And she's on the call. So thank you very much for that. And just something I want to highlight, so not to overlook, it shows your growth. So from us and for those that are listening and those that watch this later on, well done. Keep going.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, and thank you for having us on today.
Yes.
My pleasure. And just lastly, is there anything you want to say in closing? Anything you want to leave the parents and young people with that are listening or watch this later on?
Well, I would say that one of the most important things, and is just essential to human nature, is exploring. So whatever you're doing, explore. So if you've got 10 ideas, explore all 10 of those ideas.
Amazing.
What was it you said about exploring or something within context?
There's no limit. Understand that you are limitless. And I think that's one of the ethoses for our life. You're limitless. So, for instance, Anya's doing something at the moment because somebody that I booked onto a conference not that long ago, they're called Prospect 100, very amazing young people. They're running a competition. So Anya's doing a design at the moment for that. And the minute I'd come off of one of my sessions, she was like, Mom. And I was like, wow. So tune in, pay attention, find excitement in seeing your own young person, your own leader get excited about doing. So it's very important not to be, go sit down, go do X, Y, Z, but to be excited and say, wow, that's amazing. Yes, that's a lovely idea. Wow, I really love that. Let's see some more. Be excited with them. You know, I think that's important. And that's how you champion your young person. Get excited with them, for them, you know, be a sounding board, but also be there. That's important.
That's amazing. Well, thank you both very, very much. As you can see, Julian Baptiste is saying, very inspiring mother and daughter, exclamation mark, and clap, clap.
Thank you.
Brilliant.
Thank you.
So thank you both for being on. Thoroughly appreciated and appreciate your presence. And we're going to share about Ultra Education farm-wide. So as many people as would benefit from what they do and what you guys do, they get to have access to that. So thank you very much and have a brilliant rest of your Saturday.
Thank you. Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure. Bye-bye.
See you later. Bye-bye. So that was amazing, right? I think that was pretty special. So for those of you that are online with us right now, remember to press share so more people get to see this. And your comments are very much appreciated because that interaction does make a huge, huge difference. So now we're going on to, let me share my screen with you. Let's see what comes up here. There we go. Okay. Let me do this one. Technology, I love it. So we've got an amazing couple join us very, very shortly. They're from Open Palm Charity, and came across. I'd actually seen them on Instagram a few months ago, and I thought, oh, that looks actually quite good. We should reach out to them. And about a month after I had that thought, they got in touch with us, and I really love what they're doing. And I think what they're doing in terms of financial empowerment will make a huge difference to our community, especially for right now in 2020. So the reason for the title, 2020 is not cancelled, is because in my journey with people, when I coach them, a lot of really talented people are struggling with their finances. They've been hit by the lockdown, by COVID, and many of them have given up and written off 2020. So we're saying, no! 2020 is not cancelled. So what Ralph and Sophie are going to talk about will be a great example of, hey, look, listen, 2020 is not cancelled. So here are...
Hey, hello.
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 Hi there, both. How are you doing?
Thanks so much for having us. We're so happy to be here.
Yeah, we're good. Marcia and Anya were amazing. It was really good listening to them.
Yeah,
brilliant.
massive achievements. Amazing to hear from both of them. Brilliant.
Yeah, totally. Thank you very much for that, because that was complete. Actually, wasn't planned. She just said my daughter can be on, and I was like, okay, great, yeah, definitely, bring her on, and it's gone really, really well. And I think that also ties in very, very well with what you guys are going to talk about, because here is a husband and wife team making a difference. I think that's really very, very powerful, and it's great for young people within our community to see that, to say, hey, look, listen. So this thing called marriage does work, and there's a tag team that are doing things together. So I'm going to give you a chance to just give us an introduction. Tell us a bit about who you are, what you do, and why you do it.
Yeah, absolutely. If it's all right, can I share some slides?
Yeah, sure. Let me do that here. Let's have a look. Yep, we're ready.
Okay, just bear with me. Okay, let us know when you can see.
Okay, so I'm sharing the slide. The slide is up.
Excellent. Cool. So I'll just make it full screen for you guys.
Perfect.
Okay, so Ademola, thank you for the introduction. As Ademola said, my name is Ralph McBaiden. I'm a co-founder and trustee of Open Palm Charity.
And I'm Sophie, Ralph's wife, also a co-founder and trustee. And we're just so excited about Open Palm Charity, which we set up in July of this year. So the charity really exists to improve lives through education, through economic empowerment, as Ademola said, and through promoting racial equality. So the spark really brings. We've seen so many issues in the Black community over a long time. And I know I'm preaching to the choir when we talk about systemic issues and all of the disadvantages. And we've been active in our communities. We've both participated in mentoring, we've both supported other organisations. But the spark for us was the George Floyd incident earlier this year, you know, when we saw what was happening, how it was happening, just for us. It was so overwhelming. It was so enraging. It was so disgusting. And we just thought enough is enough, because it's not just happening in the US, it's also happening in the UK in different forms. And for us, there are different responses to seeing and hearing about what happened to George Floyd. For some people, it was to go out and protest, and that's admirable and it's really important. For other people like us, it was to do stuff on the ground to start making a change. And that's how Open Palm was born. So in terms of some key kind of statistics, in case people aren't aware of the issues in the UK, for us, there's some major issues that we're really trying to tackle through Open Palm. So one of them is underrepresentation. So there's a really, really powerful representation index that runs every year. It's called the Colour of Power, and it assesses the top leadership roles in the UK, both in the government, public sector, and also in companies, so in the private sector. And out of the 13% Black and ethnic minority and Asian population, only 4.7% of us are actually taking up those top leadership roles. So we make up, as a community, Black and Asian and ethnic minorities, 13% of the UK population. Yet we only get 4.7% of the top roles. And when you actually then start breaking down of that 4%, how many are Black, it's even worse. Another key statistic for us that we're trying to tackle is economic disadvantage. So for us, a really, really striking report came out in July of last year, 2019, which assessed the household weekly income by ethnicity. And it just really painted a stark picture that Black households are the most likely of all of the ethnic groups to earn a weekly household income of £400 or less. So that's the entire household, and that's before tax. But then when you look at reports about spending, we realise that the average UK household spends £500 a week. But hold on a minute, Black households aren't even earning that in the first place in some cases. So there's a massive disparity. And it's just highlighting some of the systemic issues as well, more broadly than just income, but also unequal access to housing and education and job opportunities. So we're just trying to tackle the economic point. So Ralph's going to take us through the next bits.
Yep. So, I mean, as we've already seen, COVID has affected Black and ethnic minorities a lot more than other categories. So what's interesting is the issue isn't genetic. We've seen lower rates in countries like Africa than the UK. And the issue really is around the disadvantage, the overcrowding, the types of roles we tend to get in the community. So in order to tackle this, one of the things we want to do with our charity is level the playing field. So we want to promote racial equality for the benefit of all. We want everyone to prosper. We want our community to prosper. We want society to prosper. And this is one of our kind of key things which we want to drive forward.
So, I mean, how's Open Palm doing that? So one of the key things we're tackling is the education issues. What I've seen being a primary school governor is during lockdown, there were great things that were being done by teachers. They were going online, they were trying to deliver courses online, etc. But there are still massive issues with making education accessible, particularly to lower income households. And sadly, a lot of the lower income households are Black households and ethnic minority households. So we're trying to make education more accessible. We're trying to work with schools that have a lot of low income students to try and get more laptops to young kids so they can access content online. We're trying to work with schools in the UK and in some countries overseas, like Uganda, to try and help those schools get better resources, textbooks, stationery, etc., so that kids can learn. And we just don't believe that your education outcomes should be influenced by how much money you have. Another thing we're trying to do is life skills programs.
Yeah, and that kind of brings us on to what our charity's been doing very recently. So when we say life skill programs, we talk about obviously all the things which can't be taught in schools. We know schools have a lot on their plate, and we know that there's some skills which you learn after. So we want to try and introduce them as early as possible, because there's some things which in our community we're not exposed to at the same level as those in other communities. So we want our life skills program to be delivered online, obviously, for now. And then when it's safe to do so, we also want to do it in person. Which brings me on to our Wise Money program, which has just launched. We've got our first cohort signed up, and this is a free.
Yay! So let me there. So really, for those of you that are listening on, so for those of you that watch this later on, so Ralph and Sophie, they saw a problem and they took personal responsibility. So they didn't wait for somebody else from somewhere at some time from some other universe to come and do it. They did it. And then not only did they do it, they've also come up with a solution. So the Wise Money program is a solution to solve a problem. So my request is for those of you that are out there that this resonates with you, please listen to this part. And regardless of your views on COVID and what the government's talking about, oh, Black people are more affected by the coronavirus. I've said, is the coronavirus racist? Like, what's going on with this virus? Does it see the color of skin and it attacks Black people? Because the part they were missing out on is it's not about Black people because we're Black people. It's about the social, economic impact that people that are Black are dealing with. And that makes that virus have more of an issue. Not because of the virus itself, but because of the environment. So the context was missing in a lot of the things that the government have been saying. And it's really great that Ralph and Sophie are talking about the actual context So they're talking about this virus in context, and here is a solution. So Ralph, please go for it.
No, thank you. That was really useful, because just to talk about how we can help out. So I'm a chartered accountant, and I thought, right, how can I use my skills to help? We all can help in different ways. So I led the building of this course, and I also got input from other Black qualified financial professionals. They've all input into this course. A lot of them are even featured in this course. And we really want to kind of bring our community together and solve this problem directly with this course. So it's a free course. We're a registered charity, so we've gone out, we've got funding, we've got donations. So the young people who are taking this course don't have to pay a penny, the parents don't have to pay a penny. And we just really want to upskill our community. And just to quickly say, this is just our flyer, which went out. It's kind of live to go out and apply and register at the moment. It's accredited, which means you do this program, you get a certificate you can put on your CV. You've got something tangible you can use, bring that into your first interview or wherever you might need it.
Yeah, and we just want to invite, all young people to register. As Ralph mentioned, this is a course that has been built to tackle an issue that the Black and ethnic minority community are facing. It's been built by us, by people of the community, for the community. And just a couple of reasons why, we really think people should be enrolling. So one of them, as Ralph mentioned, is the accreditation. Really important just to kind of hone in on that point, because once you've done this course, you'll get a nationally recognised certificate from an accrediting body. It means that you can put the accreditation from ASDAN on your CV. No one can take that away from you. It helps you, as Ralph mentioned, when you're applying for work experience, when you're applying for jobs, internships, whatever the case is, it's another string to your bow. Another thing is the course is practical. This isn't an academic course. We're not teaching the theory of money or anything like that. This is how to handle money. And you'll be learning skills and using skills that you can start using immediately that will benefit you. It's also teaching knowledge. So get a head start in life to improve your understanding of money, be a little bit beyond your peers. There are things in this course that we presented to people that we know when they were reviewing it and giving us input. There's things that adults are learning on this course. And these are things that if you can get this information at the young age of 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, that's brilliant, because it gives you a very, very strong foundation for the future. And as we saw earlier with the government reports, etc., as a Black community, as an ethnic minority community, we really need to master the skill of managing money. And finally, the course is online, as Ralph mentioned. It's all online. You can access it on your phone. You can access it on your laptop, on your device. And the whole course can actually be completed from your mobile. So it doesn't mean that you have to be waiting for that one household laptop or computer to be available. You can do it in your own time.
Amazing. Can I just interject as well? So for those of you that are listening, maybe those of you that are watching this down the line, has any of you ever come across a subject or a module in your primary school, secondary school, even college, where they're talking to you about money? They're talking to you about finances. If you have, please put it into the chat. I'd love to find out about that school. Because for me, we just didn't discuss money. And money and understanding it is so massively important. So I'm a person of faith, and a good part talks about that wisdom is the principal thing, and therefore get wisdom, and in all you're getting, get understanding. So basically, wise up. Like, you need to wise up, you need to get information, to get knowledge, to get wisdom. So what Ralph and Sophie are presenting here for free, we'll talk about that, by the way, for free, is they're giving you the course and the subject that's missing on your curriculum.
100%. And, just as you mentioned, of being of faith, likewise, we're also Christian, and it's really important for us. And that's another motivation for doing this charitable stuff, is that we think it's really important that we've got skill, we've got knowledge, we've got understanding, and we want to be able to pass that on. We've had the benefit through experience and so on of learning things, sometimes the hard way. And we really just want to give a helping hand to the next generation and really just try and level the playing field, as Ralph mentioned. Some of these things, sadly, number one, not taught in school. And number two, as we know, because of a lot of disadvantage that's faced with Black and other ethnic minority communities, it's not always easy within our communities to find someone who has got this knowledge. It's not everybody knows an accountant, not everybody knows an investment manager.
Yeah.
And so, but we've, been blessed enough that Ralph is an accountant and knows many people in the finance sector. I work for a big bank. I know many people I am in the finance sector. And so it's important that because we've got that knowledge, we really just want to be able to share that and pass that on and get these young kids a good head start in life.
Amazing.
Okay, so what's covered on the course? People might be asking, what is this course going to be teaching? So this is just a snippet of a couple of the sessions. So we're going to be covering budgeting. This is a key skill that everybody should know how to do, and actually being able to master budgeting, knowing how to use money effectively is a really key skill for social mobility as well, and being able to budget for key goals, buying a house, buying a car, buying that laptop for your studies, whatever the case might be. So budgeting is a key skill. We're also teaching saving, why it's important and how to do it effectively. We're also talking about investments. So, people often think that you need to start off as a millionaire to ever have a chance of having any investments. And there tends to be a connotation that investments are something that's reserved for the ultra rich, but that's just not the case. You can start very, very small. And if you're wise with how you go about things and you use the right principles when you're budgeting, when you're saving, or when you're investing, you can actually start building wealth. So that's what we're also trying to teach, is the key principles that young people in our community can start building that wealth. And the final thing that we're talking about in this course generally across the board is having the right mindset, a money mindset, a winning mindset when dealing with money. There's a lot of people in our community, sadly, that are facing insurmountable amounts of debt, that are overwhelmed with financial issues. And we really want to try and get the younger generation to be thinking about money in the right way, to be using it as a resource and using it properly, and developing the right attitude so that they're managing their finances responsibly. And this is just a snippet, as I mentioned. There's much more that's taught in the course.
Yeah, so if any of this sounds interesting, and hopefully it does, we'd love you to come and register on our website at www.openfarm.org.uk/wise. It's enrollment's open for our next cohort in December, and we'd love to see as many young people on there as possible. If you're a young person listening, please sign up. Again, it's free. If you're a parent, if you know of anyone in this age group, we'd love you to come on this course. We feel there's a lot you can learn. There's a lot of secrets out there which we want to expose and just kind of get you ahead of the game, ahead of your peers, and ahead in life.
100%.
What's the age group?
13 to 17. 13 to 17.
Perfect.
And yeah, just a snippet. In the future, we're going to be coming out with Q1 next year with some employability skills. So again, this will be another online program covering things like CV writing, interview prep, and even the other things which affect our community, such as almost like how to carry yourself in certain environments. And when I say that, I mean just being aware of the environment more than anything. I'm not saying we need to act a certain way in the office, but just to know that there's certain ways and perceptions which people might think coming from our community. So just about how to deal with that.
How to manage perceptions, how to deal with the right corporate etiquette, the importance of networking, etc., and how to really harness that. But really, also this course is also teaching some really key digital skills. Mm-hmm. It's really important now, especially when young people are going for assessment centres, for internships, or for their first graduate jobs. There's a lot of requirements to do PowerPoint presentations or to be able to just use Microsoft Office in a certain way and to be able to present in a proper way. So that's one of the key skills that we'll be teaching on this course too. And again, it all just goes back to the fact we want to pass on information and experience that we've learned over the years with the contributions of other people as well, and just get these young people equipped for success.
Absolutely. And yeah, just our website again, openfarm.org.uk.
Yeah. So that's pretty much it. So yeah, we just wanted to share that and really just invite as many young people as possible to join the wise journey, get wiser with money, and let's start the journey.
Amazing. And the great thing as well is we're also going to put you on our website, so people can actually know that it's there, and they can get your details from there as well. Maybe we'll discuss this offline. I'm actually thinking maybe we could just send an email out to people as well, so as many people as possible see this, because I think, not even I think, so this is Black History Month. We're not really talking about that much because you can't fit our history into a month, but that's another conversation.
Yeah.
But the thing is that slavery started purely for economic reasons. The transatlantic slave trade was a trade. It started purely for financial reasons. It wasn't because Black people are inferior. It wasn't that. That was the lie that was used to back up the actual agenda, which was we want to make money. So you notice that whenever there's a conversation around race, especially in the UK, don't get me wrong, you can protest, we can protest. I've been to protests, so you can do the protesting, you can do the complaining, you can do the placards. But when it comes to actual economic impact, it starts to go silent.
Yeah, absolutely.
It starts to get a bit quiet, right? So it's great the statues come down, don't get me wrong. It's great that all those things happen. It's great that we go out there and we make noise. It's great that we do that. But the really key thing is, let's talk about the money. Let's talk about the economic empowerment, financial enablement, that the creativity, entrepreneurship, invest in that. You notice quite often that conversation gets drowned out.
Yeah.
So Ralph and Sophia, anything you guys want to say about that?
Do you know what? I mean, you raised a really good point around the economic empowerment in the context of being an entrepreneur. And that is something that we talk about in the Wise Money course, because we do address people that are not necessarily going to go down the corporate path, but might actually want to set up their own businesses. And that is massively encouraged. You know, as a community, we have so many bright ideas, and we're often, even to this day, very often underestimated, put down, limited, etc. I would encourage everyone, if you've got an idea, if you want to set up a business, go ahead and do it. And this Wise Money course will help you in terms of some of the key principles. Again, budgeting is really, really important when you're running your own business. And also, we are teaching things like, if you're self-employed, then what that means in terms of tax and all that sort of stuff as well. So really key skills and key knowledge that people need, not only if you're going to work in a company and get a salary, but also if you're going to become self-sufficient in sense of running your own business. There's also key skills and key knowledge in this course that can really help you with that.
That is amazing. You guys are doing awesome. And it'd be great to support you whichever way that we can. And I'm also going to say this as well, because I do lots of work on mindset and leadership. So it's great that Open Palm, Ralph and Sophie have made this course free. And also Ultra Education also doing that free course as well. I'm going to encourage you, because it's free, doesn't mean that you should overlook it. So for those of you who do the program, you give it absolutely everything. Like, you completely commit to it. Turn up for every session. Do the work. Is there homework in between?
There's no homework per se, but to get the accreditation, people need to do a challenge. And so the course gears everybody towards being ready to do that challenge.
Awesome.
And that is, if you want to call it homework, I mean, it's a challenge, but it has to then be submitted and so on. And there's preparation that's involved, and young people have to go out and do practical things to actually do the challenge. And the challenge, again, it's not a theoretical thing. It's a skill. So even in doing the challenge, the young person is really applying these skills in terms of budgeting, for example. Brilliant. So this is not, you're right though, just because it's free doesn't mean that people should say, oh, it's free, I can take the biscuit, I can be slow in submitting documents, I can mess with it. As a charity, there are costs still involved with running this course. I mean, we were trying to work out roughly how long it took us to build it, and we worked out probably over 100 hours each to build this content. That's our time that we won't get back, but we're happy to do it to help the community. And there's other costs involved with preparing this course and running the course. It's delivered online, there's platform costs, etc. So we just want to make sure that when young people are doing this, they are committed to doing it, not for us, but for themselves, because this is an investment in themselves in terms of the time, And also just recognizing the fact that it wasn't free to get us here. It's free because we're a charity and we want to do that. But just because it's free doesn't mean it's not valuable.
Brilliant. And I'd even also say this as well, because I'm going to say it. If you're going to do this course, put some money towards Open Palm Charity. Fund them in one way, shape, or form, because in the culture that we've grown up in, money signifies commitment. So when you put your money down for something, regardless of what it is, you're going to make it work, make it happen. So I am going to, in a way, challenge you that they've literally given their time, their expertise, their years of experience, right? That's not free. What they've done is not free. So do the course, put some skin in the game, like pay some money towards it.
Really.
Say thank you very much. Appreciate it.
Just to add, sorry, it's a way of paying forward as well. So if you do the course or your children have done the course, it's a way of enabling more people to do the course moving forward as well. So that's one of the key things we want to just put out there as well.
Yeah.
Brilliant.
But just so you know, of course, the course is free. So if you're not able to make a donation, you don't want to make a donation, fine, doesn't stop you. Come on, enjoy the course, learn some stuff, do the challenge, get the accreditation, improve your CV, learn practical skills along the way, and be a step ahead of your peers. But if you're willing and able, then of course, as a charity, all donations are welcomed.
Awesome. Thank you both very much. And just in closing, what for those that are listening, so let's say for the young people, what would be the one tip you'd give the young people that are listening or that are going to watch this? And then there'd be a second thing, one thing that you give the parents that are listening, that are watching this.
For the young people, I would say don't give up. 2020, as Amanda said, is not cancelled. There is still the rest of the year, and the future is still bright. So I would say if you've learned anything from this talk and from this entire weekend of presentations, it's that there are so many people that are doing really positive things, so many people that are still hopeful, that are still pushing forward, that are still setting goals and trying to deliver. So be inspired. It's not hard to get inspiration. Just look around and you will find it. But I would say keep the hope alive. Keep hopeful for the next school year, for everything else. This year is not over. Don't write it off. Your challenges don't define you. And this year's been tough for everybody, but there's also been some real silver linings and a lot of new ideas and creativity and so on. So I'd say to the young people, keep pushing forward. We move and we look forward to the future. For the parents, I would say just try and do what you can in terms of just trying to make the learning that the young kids have lost. I know it's really, really difficult. There's been so much lost time in terms of school, but there's not just academic stuff to learning, right? There's also a lot of practical skills. And, the older you get, once you finish school, actually, it's not so much what you knew academically, but it's more how you can handle certain situations, how you can navigate challenges, how resilient you are, and so on. So I would just say, take up all the opportunities that are out there. This course is one of them, and we invite you to enroll your kids. And there's so many other things, what Marcia was doing and all the other amazing speakers that you've had. So just take all the stuff that's on offer.
Brilliant.
Ralph?
Awesome.
Yeah, just to add that there is hope. There's a lot of hope still out there. There's a lot of good initiatives out there. There's a lot of opportunities. For example, we use the time we would have spent commuting. We're now working from home building this. We've used our time productively. We've created something which can then just move forward and benefit many people. So there are opportunities out there. Even though we are in a pandemic, there are still opportunities out there to improve yourself, to help your children, to help your community.
Yeah, most definitely.
Awesome. Well, thank you both very, very much. And it's been really great having you on. Very, very interesting things that you guys are doing. And big well done. Well done. Keep going.
Thank you so much for the opportunity, and it's such a great event. We look forward to seeing what the rest of the speakers have to say. We've been loving it. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. We wish we had this when we were younger.
Yeah, definitely.
We wish we had this 1,000 Black Boys event when we were younger.
Do you know? Yeah, I wish I had this as well. Choices in life, isn't it?
Thing, right? In terms of just the inspiration, there's so much positive stuff that's out there. So I just love what you guys are doing. So big respect and big congratulations for what you guys are doing. It's amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. Thank you very much. Well, thank you both. Have a great rest of your Saturday, and we'll connect. And I'm sure the program's going to go phenomenally well.
Thank you so
Thank
much.
you. It's been a pleasure.
Thank you. Take care. Bye.
Bye.
Right, amazing. So, bear with me. Wasn't that really useful? And the really great thing as well is the fact that a lot of the things that Ralph and Sophie spoke about, very, very similar to what Jazz spoke about yesterday, and to even also to what the wasted talent team spoke about later on, about resilience. So Jazz spoke about investments, really powerful, how to do it, how to get started. He spoke about his experience. And then Wasted Talent spoke about the power of resilience. Remember what Marcus said yesterday evening. His thing was, the one tip he'd give to the young people is be resilient. And they've said the same thing today. So I hope that that's resonating. I hope that you're finding this really, really useful. It'd be really great to get your interaction, to get some of your comments, to get your thoughts. Yeah, so please continue to interact with us. And if you haven't done so already, like this, press like or give us a heart shape. Heart shape. Yeah, kind of like a heart shape. And also share this. So share this with lots of different people. So for our next conversation, that's starting very, very shortly. It's a very important topic. In case you're wondering, why does he keep on looking to his right-hand side? For those of you that weren't on yesterday, is because I've got two screens. So the screen on this side is where my agenda is and where other things are where I would like to show you. So I'm just scrolling down because I want to share this screen with you very, very shortly, so you can see where we are at in terms of today's agenda. And it's loading up. And I think I need to invest in a new laptop because yesterday's it crashed as well halfway through, which is very, very interesting. So I'm bringing on this gentleman very, very shortly. Come on, computer. Work with me here. Okay, well, it's not really, there we go. It's doing something. Amazing. Okay, just wait for me there, people. I'm gonna share, there we go. So for this next conversation, we are letting parents know that it's a delicate conversation. It's one that we say parental guidance is recommended. So we just had a conversation with Ralph and Sophie from Open Palm. We're going to be talking to this phenomenal human being very, very shortly. His name is Ajani, and he's a mentor, he's a producer, and he's also an author. He's written a book. The title of the book is Stories Boys Don't Like to Tell. And it's talking about the issue of abuse. And he's going to share his experiences. And this is really for those that are out there who resonate with this. Maybe you've dealt with abuse in the past, or maybe you're dealing with it right now and you don't quite know how to respond, how to get out of it. Ajani will provide his experience and also some ideas on what you can do to navigate the challenges that you're facing right now. And also for those of you that faced abuse in the past. So this will also touch on sexual abuse. So that's the reason why we're saying to parents, it's a sensitive subject. If you would like to listen to it, you're more than welcome. And you can also contribute. If you think you wouldn't like your children to hear that, you can come back and join us again in half an hour. But we are going to deal with it in a very powerful, thoughtful, responsible, actionable way. And so that's our goal, and that's our intention for this conversation. And when I spoke with Ajani, I was really clear that this is a conversation that needs to be discussed, because many people deal with this and they suffer with it in silence. And we don't want you to do that. We want you to be able to deal powerfully with this. I want you to have options and have solutions that can help you here. So I'm going to bring him on very, very shortly. So literally, we've got Ajani, just finished with Ralph and Sophie. Ajani's here. And after this conversation, we're going to go and speak to these other amazing people. So here is Ajani. Hello.
Hello. Thank you so much for having me. This is such an amazing event. 2020 is definitely not cancelled. I just want to say massive big up to the speakers who've come on before. Marcia and her lovely daughter, very inspiring. I was really positively moved listening to both of them speak. And then listening to Ralph and Sophie, you guys, what you're doing is incredible. We needed Open Palm when we were kids. We need it as adults now. And also just to say thank you to 1000 Black Boys for having me. Adebola, it's an absolute pleasure to be here. And I absolutely, I love what you're doing. And thank you so much for giving me some space to be here and to share and to speak with you all.
No, thank you for being on. Like, I really appreciate it. And also, thank you for what you're doing as well with the book that you've written, with what you do with Brunch Brothers, which you'll tell us more about as well. And also, thank you for your vulnerability and leadership and having this kind of conversation. And you're talking about the kind of stories that boys don't like to tell, the kind of things that, you know, that people avoid.
Yeah.
And in some cases, they brush under the carpet and they pretend as if it's not there.
Absolutely, absolutely. And for a lot of families, there are so many issues that harm our families, and the issue is not the harm itself; it's the silence that causes the harm. It's the shame that causes the harm. It's the embarrassment that causes the harm. So my whole idea and my belief is just to unearth everything that we can. You know, you can't heal what you don't reveal. So I'm really, really big on that. So I've been mentoring young men since 2007, 2008. So it's been about 12 years. And my background, you know, the way I grew up, I never ever thought that I would ever take on a role like this in life. I didn't think that I would be someone who champions Black boys and their well-being, their emotional well-being, mental well-being, you know, and supporting them through education and through transitional moments in life, because my journey as a Black boy was extremely traumatic, and part of that was because of other Black boys. So I definitely had like a very deep resentment for boys who looked like me because of what I was put through growing up, and also some of the most adverse experiences that, you know, changed my life vastly as a child were things that were inflicted upon me by other Black men. So it was a very difficult fence to climb, and the conversation at first sounded quite kind of like a betrayal against my own people, because it's our job to stand together and to support one another and to love one another and to protect one another. And by speaking on the things that I've begun to speak about, it felt a little bit like I was doing too much, but then I had to get over that, because we absolutely need to have these conversations, and it's so key. And what was really important when I was working on Stories Boys Don't Like to Tell was that it didn't need to come from just my voice, because not all men are going to listen to my voice. So I worked with a group of young men aged between 17 years old and 31 years old, and they shared so candidly with me some of the deepest things that you've ever heard. And so what I actually wanted to do to begin with, first of all, I want to encourage everybody to ask questions in the comment section. I don't want to be really appreciative. I'm so appreciative if you can help me to keep a track of any questions that do come through.
Yeah, we'll do.
Yeah, thank you. So I'm going to read a little bit from the beginning of the book, just to kind of give you guys an idea of where I'm coming from. And then I'll tell you a little bit more about Brunch Brothers and how that began, and then I'll take some questions. So in recent years, there has been a significant increase in conversations about masculinity, manhood, growing up, trauma, and so on. As someone who has worked especially with young men for over a decade, I have been privy to some of the most mind-blowing revelations men and boys have shared parts of their lives and stories with me, whereby I've often been left speechless by what I learned. What I have found to be particularly astonishing is that while I consider these moving pillars of silence to be common to the rest of the world, it is nothing short of unfathomable that these complex yet incredible stories exist at all, even amongst other guys. I have been privileged to learn about the inner workings of the minds of men in a safe space where we have all shared generously and thus begin to access a freedom that can't be quantified, a series of moments that money cannot buy. The truth is, I'm sick and tired of conversations that merely skim the surface of some serious issues pertaining to us men, Black men and boys especially, because our stories run very deep. A great man once said to me, if you can't share it, then you don't have it. It has you. So in light of this, I went on a journey seeking out who else is over the half-hearted approach to the conversation around the journey of boyhood and manhood. In this book, you will get direct access to a series of stories that are grossly commonplace but seldom discussed. So prepare yourself to be compelled by stories that are 100% authentic, vulnerability at its most vulnerable, and the truth at its truest. Some of these stories have been signed off by their writers, and others have been kept anonymous for the safety and comfort of the contributor. Named or not, these stories are real, they are raw, and you won't ever be the same after reading this incredible collection of writings, thoughts, insights, revelations, and invaluable life lessons. Aside from having a conversation, in fact, moreover, the purpose of this collection of experiences is all about healing and breaking the severely toxic, circuitous culture that we as men can no longer uphold. Every single contributor to this body of work has attested that this process, while emotionally stirring, in many ways has been the offset for much needed and desired closure and growth. By sharing our truth, we achieve a number of things. One being that we can confidently lean into vulnerability as a means to establish ownership over our journey, our collective narrative, and the true inner strength. Another is that we can inspire others with bold truth. By disarming our demons and facing ourselves head on, we gain new knowledge and we are invited to understand that who we are a lot better should we truly allow ourselves to go there. I don't believe that this book would make much sense if I didn't share aspects of my own journey. It wasn't until I experienced deep compounded trauma at the dawn of 2017 that I realized that I had experienced a continuous 20-year period of emotional and mental unrest. Like most men, I walked into manhood having learned how to cope, to endure, grin and bear, smile for the cameras, as it were. 2017 was difficult because I hit my absolute rock bottom after being abandoned by my two best friends, endured a breakup, and needed to find my feet from scratch, all in a matter of a few short weeks. I was devastated and somewhat paralyzed by the grief-stricken trauma. I was forced by that situation to realize that even I was capable of not being okay. I was blessed to see and experience a few key people who rose up to support me. What was crazy to me is that some of these people had been spoken so badly about by the very people who I believe would never leave or forsake or betray me. My angels who rose up were not just there for me. Actually, they held up a mirror before me, and they were careful and compassionate enough to not only uplift and encourage, but to lovingly show me that I had work to do. For the first time, I could feel my mental health hanging over the edge. It wasn't what happened at the start of that year, but in fact, it was an accumulation of many issues that had come to a head, and I was at the very end of my rope. After surviving physical and sexual abuse, family unit breakdown, bullying, racially fueled attacks in the UK, persecution from church folk, social isolation, being undocumented for over a decade, continuous and repetitive rejection, a major car accident, and deep heartbreak, I learned that my first 2.5 decades were so traumatic for a reason. I'm now equipped to connect with and relate to other men, and I have experiential qualifications that have made my voice one that boys and young men especially can hear and understand. It is safe to say that my life has not gone according to plan at all, and I've had to work on being okay with that. I may have a marred past, but I'm grateful for the resilience that is born out of my pain every single day. My childhood did not give me a fighting chance. However, my childhood did not give me a fighting chance whatsoever. So the fact that I recognize what a mess I've been, I can work on that mess, I can grow, and most importantly, I can share what I've learned. I'm not unique in my struggle because pain is pain. but we don't have to hurt anymore. We don't have to be confused, ashamed, condemned, and our anger does not have to be misdirected anymore. Sharing the stories that boys don't like to tell means we can finally demystify some of the topics and issues that have brought our society to its knees. We don't have to lose to our past anymore, and we most certainly don't have to be burdened by our stories for feelings of pride or fear of judgment. Prepare to be shocked, moved, enlightened, and inspired. Prepare to unburden yourself as we walk through this powerful and noteworthy discussion, the heart of which is truth. My truth, your truth, our truth. So, for everybody that's in the room, that's just the introduction from the book, and just it should give an idea of where I'm coming from and why I wanted to do it. 3 years ago, in 2017, is when I began Brunch Brothers. Now, I had been mentoring already, like I said, for many years, but when I started the mentoring program, it was because I'd reached such a horrible space, such a dark space, and on my way out of it, I began to understand why people treated me the way they did when I was younger. And I was like, wow, this was pain being communicated, but it was being communicated in such a negative way. So I decided to invite a group of guys around, and I would cook food in the morning, and then I'd go to our office in Shoreditch, and we'd sit around the table. I'd get everyone to come in at about 11. They greet each other. A lot of them didn't know each other when they first met, when we first started doing Brunch Brothers. And then I'd have one topic that we put on the table for the whole discussion. And you will be amazed just what happens when we put some food on the table and a topic. The guys will start eating, and then like sort of halfway through or like towards the end of the meal, I'll bring up the topic, and oftentimes because it's purely emotion based, it's all about addressing and unraveling these emotions. And so a question that I'd like to ask is, how is your heart? To which a lot of the guys,
What's the question?
How is your heart?
Okay.
And a lot of the guys would look at me like what? How is my, like, what, how do you even articulate an answer to that? So what I would do is I would give an example, so say like if my heart was a bit heavy, I'll say I feel heavy, my heart feels heavy, and I feel a little bit burdened or sorrowful or whatever it is I'm feeling at the time. And then we would go around the table, and what we would do is that we would open a discussion about the things that cause these emotions, whether it's happiness, whether it's sadness, whether it's joy, elation. So it was really, really good to see that one question could just unfold so many topics, and guys just started opening up. And one particular occasion that I loved so much was when there's this guy, I met him at a barbecue, right? And he's one of those two cool for school guys. He's my age, I think he's a year older than I am. One of these two cool for school guys, and he's just there, like really chill, he even pretended that he was too cool to have a conversation with me in the kitchen at the barbecue. But we spoke for the whole evening, and he was like, I want to come to this brunch for this thing. So he turned up late, okay? He was half an hour late for brunch. But whatever, cool. And he sat there and he listened to the other guys talk. And bear in mind, we had some teenage boys at the table as well. So everyone's just sharing, and the playing field was level because we got older guys, got younger guys, and we're just all talking about how our heart is, the state of our emotions, etc. This guy who was late, too cool for school, didn't want to talk too much, didn't really want to make too many comments. Not only did he stay beyond brunch, this man did not leave the office until 7 minutes past 8 that night, because he found a space where he could be vulnerable. And that's what we've done. That's what we've built. It's a space where Black boys, especially, it's open to everybody, but I'm a Black boy and my experience is very relevant to other Black boys. So I was able to create a space along with some very supportive friends that allowed boys to discover who they were from an emotional standpoint, and not to be ashamed of it, and to actually find strength in doing so. And so all of that led to the writing of the book and the creation of curriculums. And actually Brunch Brothers launching in its first school as an intervention program in 2 weeks' time, just after the half term. So I am so chuffed. Like, I can't tell you, like, a course I wrote is actually going to be in a school helping year 7 boys. The age group was a bit older before, because I just felt like maybe younger kids wouldn't be able to engage, but actually I've done really well engaging with boys about 11 years old, so up. So we've now started the program for year 7 kids. We're going to be piloting it over the next 3 months, and then we're going to be looking at rolling it out for year 8 and for year 9 as well. And my goal, pardon?
Where's the school?
It's a school in East London.
Okay.
Yeah, it's a school in East London, and it's a very it's very like sort of like Asian and white mainly. That's the demographic mainly. So I thought that was interesting for me as well to start there, because most of the people who've been to Brunch Brothers are black. We've only had a couple of white guys come to brunch, which is great. So it's really wonderful to see how universal the program has proven itself to be. So the goal for me is to put Brunch Brothers in schools all over the country, all over the world really, because I really think that boys need to be given a fair chance to work out those emotions. A lot of the issues that we face today, whether it's the crime on the streets, or whether it's antisocial behavior, whether it's substance abuse, it all starts from unaddressed issues. It all begins with unaddressed issues. And so I think it's about time. And that's why I love what you guys do so much with 1,000 Black Boys. I think it's incredible. So yeah, that's what's happening with Brunch Brothers, and it led to the book being made. And not only have I done the book, but I've also adapted the book into a play. So the plan is to open the play next year in the summer. We spent lockdown rehearsing on Zoom every single week, 4.5 months non-stop. Myself and all the actors got together every Monday evening without fail, and we rehearsed an entire play. And you know what? Me and some of the cast still haven't even met in person. And we built this incredible bond and this relationship, because while rehearsing the play, these guys were also able to now address some stuff that they were going through. In the play and the book, there is a story in there written by one of my young people that I mentor. I love this kid so much. He's so honest and so open. So when he was 17, he shared with me his journey being addicted to pornography, and it had some physiological after effects as well, if you know what I'm saying. And it was really, really, really like big of him to share that with me. And so we put that in the play, and I've showed it to a couple of people, and I was like, this is real. This is what we go through. This is what we're thinking. And so it's about time. It's definitely time for us to talk about those really awkward moments, those really uncomfortable moments. Another young man shared, and this is the part where you were warning everybody about this viewer discretion. One of the young men that I mentored, God bless him, he is a survivor of rape, and he shared that story with me, and I worked with him for 6 weeks, 1-to-1, just really dissecting and unpicking and getting him ready to share with his family, because I believe that one of the biggest crippling factors is not feeling like you can't tell your mom or your dad or your relatives that you've been touched or you've been inappropriately dealt with, in that sort of way. And for me, when it happened to me, like I didn't say anything for years, and I actually ended up having a breakdown when I was in the Cayman Islands. I was 27 years old, and I told my friend's dad for the first time what happened to me, and I broke down. Like I broke all the way down. And so all of those experiences, is what has fueled Brunch Brothers and all the work that I do, and my desire to mentor and to nurture has come from, discovering that I needed a hand in healing. And I'm a man of faith myself, and I have to say that, props to God, because I don't know how else I would have made it through. And I thank God for the strength that I have, because I know that other boys might not. And so we need these platforms, we need these spaces, and we need to share our lives as openly as possible. As I'm talking to you guys right now, two young men are here in the room with me right now, because I believe in sharing these experiences, sharing these moments, and being transparent and being clear, and not trying to portray myself as some kind of heroic figure, just to show the realness of what the journey into manhood is all about, because it's not always fun, and it's not as simple as being masculine and putting your hand on your crotch, like it's big and it's deep. And
yeah, I'm sorry, John, is that I'm going to ask you some questions as well. So when we see these boys and young men walking around and the word you used was like too cool for school. And maybe people might say, being a rude boy or whatever it is, that there's issues from the past that haven't been dealt with. That there's things that they're basically covering up and that they're masking. And you mentioned this young boy who'd been raped, and that he was dealing with this. How old was he when it happened, and how old was he when he spoke to you?
It happened when he was 11, and he told me about it when he was 18 years old.
So for 7 years, he carried this with himself, told nobody else?
Nobody else. I was the first person he told.
Wow.
So as it is now, it's just me and his mom. Who knows?
And how is he now?
He's doing great. So what was happening before is that he'd come to our sessions and in different moods, but he used to have these breakdowns all the time. And then one day he came to see me, and he just completely had a meltdown. And the boy was he was a mess, and he was hitting his head. He's like, I'm so angry, and I hate feeling like this. What is this? What is this? And I remember he just broke down, and I remember just like I held him for a while, and I said, look, I've got you, man. Like however long you need, take it. And I remember praying in my head, and I said, God, I don't know what to say to this child. I don't know why he's crying. I don't know what's going on, and I don't want to sound smart. I just don't know what to do. And I remember praying, and then I just when I started speaking, I shared with him, how I felt when my parents were going through a difficult time, and I told him how difficult that was for me to deal with, and he could relate with that. And then I shared a couple of other things, and then I shared about the sexual abuse, and he looked at me in my eyes. And he says to me, are you me from the future? So at this point, I'm having to really hold it together because I can't start crying now because this is his moment and he's about to have a breakthrough. So let me allow that. Let me let him have that. So he told me about 4 key adverse things that happened to him in his childhood that he had not breathed a word to his family. Reasons are: number 1, he's a boy. Number 2, he's black. Number 3, he's Jamaican. Number 4, he's a Christian. Number 5, his dad is not an emotive individual. So as far as he's concerned, he is not bringing that kind of conversation to his hard backyardy dad. It's not happening.
He has to firm it, basically. He has to pretend like he's got it all covered.
Absolutely.
He has to be hard.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, exactly. So how he's doing now, ever since he learned how to open up and be more expressive and to be true to himself, he hasn't had a breakdown in months. He hasn't had a breakdown in months. He's had like some sad days because you don't get over something like that quite so easily, especially when you've only just begun talking about it out loud. But he's doing a lot better. I spoke to him last week. He's happy, man, and yeah.
That's brilliant work, man. Thank you. That's great work. And like people are saying, congratulations, Ajani and the team. Great work. Bless you all. Like, it's definitely much needed. And so let me ask you, so what happened to you that brought you on this journey?
It's kind of all happened by accident, if I'm honest. Like, when people tell you that they sort of stumbled into things. If you told me 15 years ago that I would be championing emotional well-being for Black boys, nah. Like, none of it would have made sense to me. I've been through some horrible things, and I have a choice. It's either I can just dwell on like that horrible stuff and how negatively it affected me, or I can get over the fear, the crippling fear of speaking and talk about it. God gave me a personality. He gave me color. He gave me presence. What am I going to use it for? So it's a lot to do with being intentional with my existence and understanding that my experiences are not for me to keep to myself. It's actually for me to share with others, shed some light. Do you know how many parents are going to be blessed by this book? And whereas the African way of looking at what I'm doing is, why are you being so loud? Why are you being
so open?
Yeah, why? There's there's an old proverb from Zimbabwe, right? And it says, yeah, and it says, be careful not to raise your arms, yeah, so otherwise you will expose your armpit, yeah, and whatever smell or whatever. So it's that for me is a culture. It doesn't sit well. It doesn't sit well with me at all. So I'm doing this because I've been brought here, and I guess I'm obedient.
Yeah, no, thank you, Ajani. And for those of you that are listening, so Ajani is somebody who's dealt with abuse and sexual abuse in the past as a young boy, and at the age of 27 in 2007, he had a moment where all of that passed.
2015. I was 27 in 2015.
2015, okay. 2015, where all of it just literally came out, and it gave him a chance to look at what's happened, reflect, and start to really deal with some stuff from his past.
Yeah.
And he's now gone on to set up, I'm going to say, an organization called Brunch Brothers, where they talk with other young men, other young black men, boys who've had similar experiences, and really allow them to start to come to terms with this and start to deal with this. And they've got a place, important, where they can speak, where they haven't got to try to be hard or be like tough, and they can really open up. So that's what he's doing. So he's doing something absolutely phenomenal and absolutely incredible. And it's very moving to hear him talk so openly and talk about the people that he's worked with and that he's still working with. Yeah, so just give you the background to that. Talk about vulnerability, Ajani, because some people had the word vulnerability and then run a mile. And men generally, I might even say this. Yeah, I mean, so if I'm being vulnerable, so that's why men tend to have like a higher rate of suicide, because they don't talk about stuff, they don't express stuff. Tell us about vulnerability.
So vulnerability is scary, and anyone who's tried it knows it's a very, very daunting place. It can be a daunting place. And I realized that the easiest yet hardest person to lie to is yourself. And what I've learned is when you say things out loud and you're talking to yourself and you're really speaking on it, you know, it can be crippling. It can be quite disabling, and it can make you pretty still. However, my experience in exploring vulnerability and really diving into it head first is that regardless of how things turn out, you're always guaranteed to learn something. And vulnerability for me has been a gateway to open doors that I didn't even think existed. Like, again, if you told me as a kid, my dream as a kid was to be a pilot, right? I'm fascinated by airplanes, love them. Every time I see one in the sky, I still look up, I still stop, I still get fascinated watching planes take off and land, all of that. I'm still fascinated, right? And I even did training when I was a kid, you know, learning how to fly airplanes or whatever. So my goal, my dream was to fly airplanes and to maybe even one day design an aircraft and have airlines buy it and things like that. That was my dream. That was my dream, right? And then suddenly I realized, oh wow, I've been living in the UK for so many years. I don't have papers. I couldn't continue my training. I couldn't get my license. Okay, what do I do? Let me start singing. Okay, this journey in singing allowed me to meet a bunch of people. And I realized, wow, if you're going to be in an industry where you're a public figure, what are you using your voice for? And then what that meant was I had to go and knock at vulnerability's door. Hey, and I'm like, oh, so the stuff that connects is the stuff that's real? When I'm surrounded by people who are not, it was confusing. So crippling, scary, confusing. But the gateways that have been opened, I now have a program running in a school. That's crazy to me. And
yeah.
I would have never been able to create that if I didn't go into that space of vulnerability. If I didn't really look at, so what is it that broke me? I wouldn't have the friends I have. You know, I've got some of the most amazing human beings in my life because I chose to be open. Especially I grew up in a culture that told me and encouraged me to not speak. Don't put your business out there. Don't chat your business. Don't chat your business.
Yeah, don't put your business out there. Don't wash your clothes in public. All that stuff.
All of that stuff. But really and truly, it's actually made my life really, really worth living. So vulnerability has allowed me to cancel out the things that just don't matter. So I have a couple of businesses, right? So there's my film production. I've got my own skincare company and all this stuff, and I'm doing okay. I'm actually doing all right with that stuff, and I'm enjoying it, right? But I work in a school as a teaching assistant. That's my Monday to Friday, like 8:30 till 3. That's what I'm doing. And when some staff members find out like what I do outside of school, and some of the kids, when they find out, they always ask me, why do you actually work here? And I'm like, yo, I enjoy doing this. And I would have never known that if I didn't lean into the darkness of my experiences from the past. If I didn't allow myself to be vulnerable, I wouldn't have found such meaning in the most random place, in my opinion, which is in school. I am enjoying what I'm doing, getting to enhance the lives of young people, getting to put them on new paths, watching children with like social and emotional and mental issues like improving, and watching them get better and encouraging them to lean into their vulnerability, because at that age, 11 years old, is when we really need to be digging deep with our kids and talking to them about their childhoods. Because by 7 years old, a lot of this stuff has happened. A lot of these adverse childhood experiences have happened. Vulnerability allows the children to be stronger people, because while the world can throw all kinds of negativity towards our kids and whatever, vulnerability means you become resilient. You can actually build resilience, right? By being open and vulnerable. So it's scary, I get it. It can be crippling, I get that too. But what it gives you in the long run is it's something that can't be quantified. And like I say in the book, it gives you a series of moments that money can buy.
That's amazing. And so just as I come to end of this session, there's some things that I wrote down. Is for those of you that are listening, whether parents or young people who've experienced similar things to what Ajani's just spoken about, is vulnerability is power. Vulnerability is power that allows you to not just skim the surface, to literally deal with what's really going on. And that it's also important to have people that you can speak with and that you can be vulnerable with. And what Ajani has created is an organization that allows you to do that. Where if what we've discussed today, right now, resonates with you, and you're thinking, oh, I wish I could do that, you can reach out to Ajani. Their details will be on our website. We're going to post it in the chat right now. But you can reach out to Ajani, reach out to his team, and just unburden yourself. Share what's going on, share what's happened. It's really important to do that. It's really important to not try to be yourself. It's important to not try to be tough, be like the hard guy. I'm the tough guy. No, don't do that. Like really open up and really share.
I think another thing as well. If you contact me directly, my at is right there. Ajani King, that's Twitter and Instagram. And you can also follow Stories Boys on Instagram as well. If you reach out, we can also make a referral. So if there's something that we feel like we're not equipped to help you with, there are other organizations and other people in the community who are available and who are skilled, who can contribute to figuring out a solution. But yeah, if you just want to reach out, if you want to like talk to me about something that you've been through, or like maybe like you're concerned about maybe like your son or your nephew, whatever, reach out. I enjoy being of service, and these guys who are here in the room right now, they are literally the reason I do everything. So please,
can we see them?
Yeah, you can come around.
Everybody else,
come around.
Come
around.
Oh, okay.
You go around this way.
Don't be shy. What's going on, fellas?
Everyone, wait, this way. Yes.
There we go. Yeah.
Right.
Nice to meet you.
So this is Jumper, right? He's a young rapper, producer, amazing young man. And this is Eds, and he's a videographer. And so these two guys met at the skate park. I met him on Instagram, and I just was like, I want to help you. I saw him rapping, and I was like, okay. And he was like 17 years old. I said, I want to help you. So then we started building a wonderful friendship then. And I recently just met Ed actually through him. So,
Awesome.
but yeah, I've always got some really positive, well-minded, you know, well-doing young Black kings around me. And yeah, man, there is a much better image of Black boys that exists, but that we're just not seeing it. And this is them.
Totally. 100%. Amazing. I mean, yes. So thanks for being on, Jen. So what we'll do is maybe we'll have you guys come and tell us what you're doing at one of our next events. It'd be great to hear what you're up to, just to inspire the next generation. Believe it or not, there's people that I can't reach, that Johnny can't reach, that you can reach. So there's people out there that waiting. So yes,
I'm always telling this young man, I'm always telling him, and I said to him, listen, don't just take what we do here and keep it to yourself. You have to share it.
Mm-hmm.
You have to share it. You have to pay it forward. You know, he was telling me about this 13-year-old girl from the skate park who, like, he started mentoring now, you know, just because of, you know, openness. And he's someone who has definitely explored vulnerability so much in the past year, and he also contributed to the book. So he opened himself up, and he was very, very vulnerable. I look forward to the world reading what he has to share.
Brilliant. Ajani, so just lastly, so how do people buy the book? How do we get the book?
So the book is actually going to be out next year, right? You can follow us on Instagram, which is Stories Boys Don't Like to Tell, and you can follow my Instagram. All the updates are going to be there. I was going to release the book next month on International Men's Day. However, the job I'm doing at the moment, I've really kind of had a big impact. I've made a big impact at the school, and if I release the book now, then everything's going to get crazy. I won't be able to be present. So I'm actually going to wait until I finish this year at the school, and then I can release the book and concentrate on that, because I can't leave the kids I'm working with randomly, because it just wouldn't be really good for their sort of minds or hearts or whatever. Do you know what I mean? It's like I'm there, we build a relationship, and I disappear. Yeah. It doesn't work. So I'm going to stick around for them for just a bit longer, and then I'm going to release the book. Brilliant.
No, thank you very much, man. So for those of you that are listening, support with emotional and mental well-being, reach out to these guys. That's their journey. That's what they're on. But Johnny, thank you very much for being on. We thoroughly appreciate it. We're going to do some Instagram lives, and we'll talk about that. And you can bring the gentleman on board as well. Let's transform the world. That's
Absolutely.
what we do. Let's transform the world. So let's 100%. Go.
Just thank you so much for having me. Thank you for all of the wonderful encouragement as well from the audience members. Just thank you so much. And just a word to everyone. If you can, please reach out to a young person and check on their heart, please. Please check on their heart. It really is the birthplace of a lot of things, and you'll be surprised what you learn, what you find out about them, and you'll be surprised what you learn about yourself. These boys have made me become patient. So just reach out to somebody. Reach out. Yeah.
John, brilliant. Thank you very much, guys. All the best, and we'll definitely keep in touch. See you later.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
Wow. I mean, so that was a very necessary and powerful conversation to have, and I hope that you got value from that. And for any of you who've dealt with any kind of abuse in the past, so you can reach out to Brunch Brothers, reach out to Ajani and his team, and they're there to support you. He shared so openly and so vulnerably about what he's dealt with. So please, don't be shy. Don't deal with trying to cover it all up. Be vulnerable and reach out to them. And also, if you want to talk to us as well, 1000 Black Boys, we see who we can signpost you to. We do some work along those lines at Get Hench, but similarly to what Johnny said, if we can't do it, we'll point you to speak to people who can. So we're going on to the last conversation of October 2020 1000 Black Boys. And I'm going to share my share this on the screen with you. I'm bringing on an amazing group of people. And what I want to say is when we launched 1000 Black Boys, we launched it December 2018. It was, I think it was like March 2019, on to this incredible talk show, this radio show. And these amazing bunch of people gave us a real platform to share our vision, to talk about the difference that we want to make, to talk about why we do what we do and our passion for Black boys and young Black men. And so today I get a chance to give them a platform to speak because they do some incredible work. And these guys are so incredibly talented. So we're going to be speaking with Ty Keezy, and also Nye from London Rebels. So from LDNRBS. They have this incredible radio station. They're very talented. They're gifted. So if you're that kind of person, you're into the creative, you're into your music, you're into your designing stuff and just very musical, you got to listen to these guys. So I'm going to bring them on. Let's have a look. So bear with me. So I'm still working out how this StreamYard thing works. Let's take that off. So I'm going to add, there we go. Ty. Nice. It works. Hey, this is the first time we're doing a session with 3 people at the same time. So that's amazing. So
nice.
Welcome to 1000 Black Boys October. How are you doing, Ty? How are you doing? What basically? Yeah. His name is Tyrone Albuquerque. I used to work with this guy. I actually hired this guy, and I thought this guy. So I also call him Ty. And there's Tyrone on the line as well, so I call him Ty as well. And then there's Nye. So don't get Ty, and Nye mixed up.
We didn't plan that.
But yeah, you guys do some incredible stuff. So I gave you like an introduction. There's more that I could say. But just like the floor is yours. Tell us about who you are, what you do, why you do it, and also how did you guys meet? Because I love that story every time I hear it. The floor is yours. Go for it.
Ty, do you want to start?
Brilliant.
Yeah, go for it, Ty.
Yeah. Ade, first I wanna say thank you for giving us this platform to showcase ourselves, and shout out to all the speakers today. I mean, they've been absolutely amazing, very, very inspirational. So yeah, thank you to everybody and to this amazing event. So yeah, a little bit about LDNRBS. I mean, we started in a youth center, I believe, back in 2007, 2008. When obviously the youth centers were operating, and we came together. That's where I met Tyrone, who obviously founded the company in 2016. And yeah, a little bit about ourselves. We're a creative media group. We've got our own radio station, which I mentioned. We do a lot of showcasing young talents. So whether it be through playlists on Spotify, we've even had a SoundCloud page a while ago as well that did really well. So yeah, before Spotify, we were doing a lot on SoundCloud as well. YouTube, we post all of the videos and all of the interviews on YouTube. Yeah, I'll let Ty talk you through everything else that we've been doing as well.
So, yeah.
Okay.
Oh, nice. Sorry.
Did you say Nye or Ty? Yeah.
Yeah, no, you can go first if you like.
Wait, no, you Ty, you go.
Okay. So, all right. Yeah, I'd like to say thank you for inviting us up here too, first and foremost. And as a whole, LDNRBS is a creative business, just like Ty said, but we're within loads of different industries as such. And I think we're young, passionate people that believe in ourselves creatively as a whole. We met each other, as Ty said, in a youth club. Ironically, the youth club is now being taken down. So also something that we're also very, very passionate about. Because if that was the case, if a lot of youth clubs that have been taken down stayed, there could be another LDNRBS in not too long. Because that's what birthed us. So we're very, very passionate about that in general. But yeah, LDNRBS is just a creative business. We put out a lot of good energy. And yeah, that's us. I'm ready for the questions. everyone's frozen.
So yeah, another thing that I wanted to mention as well, the reason for setting up the business was to kind of a platform for a lot of young people that didn't have opportunities or know who to contact, whether they wanted to film music videos, whether they wanted to meet producers or record a song. You know, a lot of this stuff can be quite costly. So we've started a network that can connect a lot of creatives to be able to liaise and meet each other through live events. You know, prior to COVID-19, we were doing a lot of sold out you know, shows. Each and every single show that we did was actually sold out. So in light of COVID-19, we've had to move everything virtual. So we've started doing the competitions, which Nyamka has been very involved with, and obviously Nyamka has been a huge part of LDNRBS through radio and presenting at all the live events as well. And yeah, people really are loving the competitions that we're doing right now, and it's pretty much open to everyone. We've had spoken word artists, rappers, singers, even producers as well, doing the competition. So I'll let Nyamka talk to you guys a little bit more about herself, her career, and everything that she's doing at LDNRBS as well.
Go on, Namka, tell us. I was on your chat show like 2 months ago, wasn't I?
Yeah, you was. And I just wanted to say as well, thank you, Ade, for giving us this platform. It's quite weird sometimes when I'm used to always being the one that's interviewing everyone else. So I sometimes get a little bit nervous when it's me that's in the firing line, essentially. But yeah, hi everyone. So my name is Nyamka, but everybody calls me Nye. We didn't plan it for it to be Ty and Nye. It just the way the world works. So I am actually originally from Bristol. If people haven't already picked up, I always get told about my accent here. So yeah, I was originally from Bristol, and I've always kind of been a creative at heart myself anyway. So I've kind of loved into like acting, and then I thought I could be an actress, because I'm just really dramatic. But I just realized I didn't really like theatre too much. So then I thought, right. I love music. I love, just creating things generally. So I was like, what else can I do? And then I was like, okay, what about presenting? So back home in Bristol, I kind of did like some urban shows like pirate radio, nothing really concrete because I was studying and things like that. And then I was actually doing a kind of YouTube series with a channel based in Bristol. And then I was just on Twitter one day and I got a DM from LDNRBS. So yeah, they just reached out to me. I think it was, okay. Was it you, Ty Keezy, or was it you, Tyrone? I think it's Keezy, right?
I think it was both of us. I think it was the universe and God. I think it was I think it was a mixture of both. Yeah.
Oh, okay, cool.
It was weird. It was weird. I believe Ty messaged you as well, and I messaged you at the same time. So
yeah, that was really odd. So yeah, both of them messaged me, and then obviously I started researching into what they do, and I was like, oh my god, it's so cool. Because these were the times where you guys were doing your live events like at Camden Assembly and everything. So when I kind of looked into that, I was like, oh my god, it's cool. And then both the Thais invited me down to the radio, and I was really excited because coming from Bristol to be invited to a radio station in London is a big deal. So I was like fangirling. I was literally like so excited, and then I came down, and it was just incredible to see how these guys were, the energy, the work rate. They were interviewing a really talented lady called Emma V. I will never forget it. And like how Tyrone is on the interview, just bossing it. Then you've got Keezy there, just like giving his energy. And it was just, for someone from the outside perspective, it was just like, I was like, oh my God, is this like my dreams? Like, because being so new into presenting, at this point, I wasn't doing like a regular radio. I'd only kind of done like project radio space. So for this was like the big deal for me at that stage. And just to see it. And then I remember they were just so welcoming to me. And then they would just like jump on. They just kind of gave me the opportunity to just jump on air and talk. And that was when I realized that this is what I love to do. So we had like when we all interviewed Emma V at that point, because I kind of collaborated, and then I was just like, and then both the Thais were like, you know, you need to calm down more and get involved more, and then we just started building the relationship from then. And then I actually moved to London, so both of these men in front of you are actually quite one of the main reasons why I'm even in London, because, and I'll always be grateful to them for that, as they already know. And they invited me down, and then since then we've just been doing the radio on Pulse. I think the radio is more kind of my baby, as I always say to Tyrone. He knows already how I am about the radio, simply because that's where my passion lies the most. But then obviously the live events, you know, we've done kind of panel talks, we've done, you know, photo shoots. We've like LDN RBS is just a platform which has enabled me, being a creative personally, to get involved with everything. And both the Thais have welcomed me into it as if it was my own, and I've taken it on board as it is my own, especially with the radio, as I said before. So we kind of like rebranded with the show. We you know, it's an interview based show for those who don't know. So we generally interview like anyone from artists to business owners like Ade. You know, we've had actors, poets, everybody. You know, we just like to give creatives a platform to I guess expose themselves essentially. And yeah, since then we've just been getting better and better. And then as Taikisi said, that we had to kind of transition online, because yeah, we usually always do live events, and I'm usually the big mouth on the mic at the main stage shouting at everyone, "You having a good time?" Yeah, if you ever been to an LDN RBS event, you'll recognize me in my voice, because it's just loud and powerful. And I'm usually always the one on the main stage, and I'm like trying to push Ty out the way so I can get like all the spotlight as well. But yeah, we've had to transition, we've had to go online, and since then I feel like, and I think the boys will agree, we've really leveled up completely in terms of what we're doing, the outreach, I mean the interest we get. So like we get interest, and we've collaborated with so many great other creative platforms like Emerald Live. You know, we had I don't know if anybody would be familiar with I'm Just Bait. He's a very big page on Instagram, about 4 million followers. You know, he's collaborated with us on the spotlight shows, and yeah, we're just gonna get better and better for sure. And I think as well, one of the good things as well about it is that LDN RBS is a platform to give people hope, in terms of if you're a new artist or a new musician, if you do poetry, if you want to get involved with kind of videography, graphic design, like there's always opportunities within the LDN RBS space. And I think especially given the Black Lives Matter movement, you know, especially if we were to think about young Black boys as well, it's an opportunity for them to get involved. You know, we have a great big network. So there's everyone in the WhatsApp. I think there's like, how many people is there in the chat now, Ty? Like over 300 or something.
Yeah. So many people. And it's just a great space to network. Of course, we all know how important network is in life. Networking is in life. And LDN RBS is a pioneer helping to do that. And I guess I'm just so happy to be a part of it, basically.
Amazing. Ty, so this is Tyrone. Because I remember this story. So you started the LDN RBS 2016.
Yeah.
And I'm also saying this from a view of young people that are watching or that will listen to this, and they have a similar passion for music, and they want to be on radio, or they want to run their own station. What was it about you that inspired you to take the leap?
Wow, it's a good question. I would say one of the first things for me is I came out of university, and as a lot of people do, you feel like you want to go into the real world and create something. Whereas for me personally, I thought, you know what, I'm gonna go the traditional way, and I'm gonna go get a job within the industry and then just go from there. But then I kept on getting no's. I probably got about 60 no's in a row, in fact.
Really?
From everywhere. So eventually I started thinking.
What kind of companies?
Say that again?
What kind of companies were saying that? Is it like...
I definitely don't want to say which ones, but ironically, one of the ones is one of the places that we work with now in terms of our live shows.
Right.
I'll say it, in fact. Vice, Dice. I'm not sure, like, you know Vice?
I know I've had Vice. They also write a magazine, don't they? Is that Vice?
Yeah. So
Okay.
I applied to jobs to Vice for a very, very long time consistently. I kept on getting a no. So then eventually I said to myself, you know what? I look around at all the creative people around me, especially in that youth club, which I met so many great creators. And I said, you know what? I feel like owning our own thing and creating a whole new platform is the way forward. And not having to wait on anybody telling me yes, pretty much is probably the biggest thing for me. I felt like I was strong enough and smart enough and savvy enough to be able to own what I do and move forward and use all of my creative, amazing friends that I don't feel like got enough recognition. I think that was one of the things too. A lot of great creative people around me literally would be more concentrating on, I guess, their 9-to-5 job than the talent they had in other fields. So I really wanted to be someone that was almost going to be a middleman to be able to bridge that gap. And yeah, I basically started LD and RBS. I'm not going to lie, it was almost like blind faith. And I was driven by something, but I didn't know what it was. I didn't know if we would be able to sell one ticket if we done a show or get any traction. But we started putting out content, and by the grace of God, it literally started to get a lot of attention. I mean, we put a podcast out on Twitter. I expected to get maybe a few likes, a few retweets, and I'd be happy with that if I was being honest. We were doing it for the love of it. And then we ended up getting 300 retweets, 400 retweets. It took me to a completely different place. I started to realize that we didn't need a bigger corporation to say yes to us to move forward. We just needed our own minds. And that was the start of it. And it just kept on going from there. And I was literally just inspired by not wanting to wait on anybody else's yes to tell me whether I'm good enough or not.
That's amazing. For those of you that are listening, so there is a demonstration of 2020 is not cancelled. So for those of you that have experienced, dare I say, challenges and the lows and the no's so far this year, what Ty's just spoken about is just the grit to say, I'm going to do it myself, and I'm going to keep on going, and I'm going to believe in myself, and I'm going to make it happen. So that's a prime example of somebody that's done that. And here they are today, and they've impacted so many people, lots of people.
Thankfully, and I definitely think it's the thing right now for a lot of people. Anybody that's watching this, inspire yourself and own what you do. Even if you do have your 9-to-5 job or you're working in whatever way, having something on the side which is based in your name, so you can go forward and grow and be better and have no ceiling to what you do also, because there's no ceiling really when you're the owner of what you do. So yeah.
Awesome. That's really brilliant. I mean, there's so many questions I want to ask you guys. I'm also keeping an eye on the time. So we've still got like another 25 minutes or so, which is really, really good. And some things I want to ask. Let's have a look. Yeah, I mean, so over COVID, right? So for all of us, it's been completely unprecedented. It's been different. Working from home. We had an office that we were going to set up. We work in Liverpool Street. We're doing face-to-face coaching sessions, and literally, boom, it's all gone virtual. We've had to go virtual. How have you guys dealt with that? I'm sure there were challenges along the way. Tell us a bit about the challenges and also how you dealt with the COVID lull and the challenges to where you are today.
Okay, I'll start. So for me, it's been a big roller coaster for sure. So I actually was made redundant from my 9-to-5 job because of
Congratulations.
Not really. I've got bills to pay. Yeah, no, I was made redundant. So obviously that's always kind of like anxiety city from that. You know, how am I going to get paid, etc., etc. And then I guess the good thing about it was, and I guess how I managed to overcome it at that time, is it actually gave me the time frame, because I know loads of people work 9-to-5 jobs, and you don't realize until you're not working in 9-to-5 how much time it actually consumes your life and how much it can take over your life. And just to reiterate a bit about a bit from what Tyrone said, when I was working a 9 to 5, I was depressed because I didn't have any time to do my creative stuff on the side. So I would encourage people, if you do have, you know, a passion or a hobby, definitely find time to do it on the side, because it will make your life, or it will make you happier for sure. Because I remember I wasn't happy until I started working with LD and RBS, until I became a part of it and was doing the radio. I wasn't happy with my life because I was just going to an office and coming home. So then when I got made redundant in June, I had all this time. So I was like, okay, what do I actually want to do? Because I always put my time, I was putting most of my time outside of work into the radio anyway, and LD and RBS anyway, and also my own personal presenting brand. And now I just had all this time to do it. And when the time was actually given to me, I just didn't know where to start, because obviously I had to think about financial situations and how I'm going to pay my rent and etc. So one of the things that I actually managed to do by bouncing back is the COVID situation. I always say it's a blessing. I know it's been horrible, and it has, and obviously people have lost things. It's been a horrible situation, but for me, in my personal life, it's been a blessing because I've never had this amount of free time. And with that time that I've had since I was made redundant, I managed to actually put it completely into my creativity. So for those who follow me or have been around on my content, I actually managed to start an Instagram live chat show called Quarantine Tea, which featured yourself, Ade. Thank you very much for joining. And that kind of went off for me personally. That was like a project that I took on for myself, away from LD and RBS, but then equally I had the time to get involved more with the LD and RBS projects. So all the Instagram lives that we were doing, the competitions, you know, I was able to do that and then focus on my own personal brand as well. So alongside my online chat show, I started my YouTube channel as well, and I had more time to focus on creating content for that. And I realized that this was when I realized exactly that this is my calling, simply because I am so much happier. I'm so much more, I wake up smiling because I know I have the time to go and shoot a video, or I have the time to interview swarms, or I have time to, you know, get great talented people, you know, who flood my inbox with their music. I actually have the time to go through it and think, all right, you know what, Ty, listen to this guy, he's great. Listen to this girl, she's great. And then I actually have the autonomy to be able to, you know, pick and choose and what I want to do. Whereas before, my life was get up at 6 a.m, be in the office at 8:30 a.m, be home by 8 p.m. And it was just like, once you're home by 8 p.m, you don't really, you're tired. You can't, me personally, I couldn't be bothered to do anything. So the COVID allowed me, it was a downfall, because of course it was very, very stressful not knowing how I was gonna get paid, but it allowed me to, it gave me time. It gave me so much time to actually put into my creativity. And then alongside that, so my previous job, so I actually work in recruitment on a professional level. So I'm a recruiter. And that was the job that I was made redundant for. And then even that now, because COVID, I guess COVID was like a new silver lining in my life, whereby it allowed me now to actually start my own recruitment business. Again, similar to what Ty was saying, it gave me the confidence now to actually do things for myself. And I do really, really advise anyone, you know, who's at that stage where they're a bit, you know, lost. Do something for yourself. When you own your own thing, no one can tell you any different. You will be surprised the amount of hours and work rate you will put in and not feel pressured, or not feel like you have to do it. You will just want to do it because it's yours. So now, alongside doing all of my presenting and the radio stuff, the YouTube stuff, the panels, everything that I do on my creative side, I also run a recruitment business. So it's a lot, but I'm happy. I'm probably busier than I have ever been, but I'm so much more happier because I have that time to attend to my creative self. And before, it was just the corporate world it just overwhelmed. So I think COVID has been a struggle, of course, for everybody, but I've managed to bounce back because I've actually managed to have the time, and I pray on it, and it's allowed me to get closer to God and everything. And now I have to say I feel incredibly lucky.
Amazing. Amazing. I'm going to let Ty go. And I'm going to say this really boldly. So when I said congratulations to tonight, I totally meant it. Because I know some of you have been furloughed, you're dealing with redundancies, but time is something that you can never get back. You can always make more money. You can't make more time. Mm-hmm. You can't go to a bank manager and say, hey, look, listen, here's some money, give me some time. They'll call the police for you or something. So the fact that you've got your time is incredible. Use that time, be creative. And what I see with Nyamka is that there's a saying that says that if you do what you love, you never work a day in your life. And she's proof of that. And I'm encouraging you people that are out there, if you're dealing with a redundancy or furlough, use the time. Go after the things that you want to do with your life. And one last thing I'm going to say, then I'm going to turn over to Ty and Ty, is that when we were young children, we didn't want to go to bed and we couldn't wait to get up. Mm-hmm. And when we grew older, we can't wait to get to bed and we don't want to wake up. We don't want to get up. It's like the alarm is an interruption of your sleep. Because what you're doing when the alarm goes off, you dread it. It drains you. It just sucks the life out of you. So my encouragement is to use this time to go and find something that you love. It's exactly what Marcia said earlier. Purpose and passion. Here's more proof for you. You know? Ty and Ty, over to you. How have you dealt with the COVID challenge opportunity?
Which Ty are we talking about? Me?
Whichever Ty wants to go. Well,
I
Ty,
can go.
Let's let Tyrone go. Because
yeah. To be honest with you, I was furloughed for about 7 months.
Congratulations.
Which at the beginning was a bit of a challenge for me financially, because I think I was losing around £2,000 a month, right? And my bills didn't change, right? So I still had to maintain the same lifestyle without the same salary. So I was looking at other avenues to explore. I was wondering whether it was worth leaving the events industry and starting another business or focusing on LD and RBS. And I had a conversation with Ty. And this was before we started doing the live competitions, right? And we were looking at other ways, other methods, other things to do. And I was thinking to myself, I have all this time available. So I'm just going to use it to focus on the business. So essentially what we've been doing right now is just doing live competitions. And I think we went from I think it was just over 2-3 months. We went from around 14,000 followers on Instagram to, I think we're on just over 20,000 now, 20,500 followers on Instagram. And it's just been growing ever since. So even with the business, we've just started a clothing line as well. And you can go on to ldnrbs store.com to take a look at some of the apparels that we've got together. We've got a few different designs, t-shirts. We're looking to do jumpers, caps, jackets next. But I've just literally been focusing on the positive side, which is what Ade mentioned, which is time. COVID-19 has really given me a lot of time to focus on myself, my mental health, and my physical health as well. I'm going for runs during summer, and yeah, I've just utilized that time to focus on positive things. I remember when I was I think it was around 16, 17, I wanted to be a football player at the time, and I didn't really, I got injured and I didn't really know what to do, and there was a local youth center down the road from me. And something told me to go in there and just check it out. And that's when I met, obviously, Ty, and I met everyone else. And, that really inspired me, looking at other musicians, producers, engineers, being creative. That kind of inspired me and kind of gave me a passion to start something new. So it's never too late for you to start something new. I think Nyamka is proof of that. She's running her own business aside from doing everything else that she's doing with LD and RBS, and I think he's absolutely amazing. Ty, this guy never sleeps. He's just always working and looking for new avenues to explore. and it's really, really inspirational to have friends like that around you. So I would definitely say surround yourself around people that can inspire you and guide you in the right direction. Ade is definitely someone that inspires me. I always have great conversations with him. He's, I consider him a great mentor. And yeah, I think it is very, very powerful to surround yourself around people like that.
Thank you, Ty. Ty?
Love it. I love even hearing my peers speak about certain things too. But for myself, as I said before too, when I started LD and RBS, I feel like it was a different type of energy driving me on. Whereas I feel like when you get into the industry and you get into the creative world as such, I think it becomes a different thing. And someone like me, I always try and operate off love in all ways, even in a creative way. I want to operate in that kind of way moving forward. Now, when COVID happened, I can't tell you I was worried. And the reason why I wasn't worried is because this is the time where you have to stand up to the challenge. This isn't a moment where we're going to take it on and then go, oh no, what are we going to do? It's the time to actually stand up and say, this is why we are here. And I think with COVID, we capitalized on what we capitalized on, and you've got to move with the times. I think we started to come with, I had a big show just about to happen just before coronavirus happened in general to the world. And it didn't get to happen. It got halted completely. But then that's where the spotlight came out, which ended up giving us almost doubling our whole audience. I could have never imagined that was going to happen, but sometimes God's plan is his plan, and you have to just trust it. Whatever happens in the climate, we have to move with it and keep on going. And just be inspired by anything that's happening on a daily basis. It's probably about, even this conversation right here, what you're doing, Ade, inspires me. So moving with the climate and just taking in the energy around you is always going to be the best way. And yeah.
Awesome, man. Awesome. There's a question up. I'm gonna ask you very, very shortly. Yeah, I think I'll go with the question actually. There's a question from Jay Benjamin. So I'm gonna pin this up. So Jay, the first part, I'm not in talking about developing a platform for young people, especially one where everyone can get paid for their craft. Wow. A dream of ours is being part of one big organization in the UK. Do you ever think it is possible?
I think anything is possible. I think first of all, you need to eliminate the if. Would this be possible? Yeah. It is possible. Anything is possible. As long as you adapt yourself to it, as long as you figure out ways, as long as you have the faith and stay, I don't know if you're a religious person, but if you are, stay prayed up on it, you can do it. The funny thing about the world we live in now is we are able to connect with people at the touch of a button. We are in a social media era where we can network, we can send messages, we can get in front of people just by clicking on them and sending a message. So I think, of course, 100% it would be possible. And all you have to do is just commit yourself to it and just apply yourself to it and just get yourself out there and just start it. From you start it, it's going to happen.
There you go. Thank you, Nam. Thank you very much. So I hope that answers the question, Jay. But Ty, anything that you guys want to say about that? Anything to add?
Yeah, I think just to even give it in a small answer to
definitely.
That I think is definitely valuable. I would say when we started LD and RBS, there was definitely some people that looked at us and thought, what are they doing? Come on. Like, even myself having personal conversations with people around me would almost laugh at the idea of us starting our own business and going forward in that way. Whereas today, I don't think they're laughing. So whoever that person is, I definitely believe if you work hard, there is literally zero limit if you work hard. If you are willing to go that extra mile and accept that challenge or whatever challenge there is literally nothing you can't achieve, and you can surpass us. In LD and RBS, you can surpass us if you're working hard enough. Anyone can, literally. So yeah.
Awesome.
And I think it's about being courageous as well. Yeah, it's about being courageous and believing in yourself and really going for it. Whatever idea you have, even if it seems like it's a crazy idea, You know, if you believe, you have to believe in yourself. That is one of the most important things. You know, even myself as a musician at the start, I'll even say myself, I was terrible. You know, the first time I ever wrote anything, it was terrible. But you know, I just kept on practicing and practicing and practicing, and over the years, it really paid off. So I think it's really just about committing to whatever idea you have, and just going for it. You know, never ever looking back.
Awesome, man. Yeah, thank you very, very much. And I'm going to say it now, actually. So we're doing our 2nd year anniversary. We're doing an event to market on the 11th of December. It's a Friday evening. I'm inviting you guys along to come along and speak again. Just let us know the journey. Let us know how things have gone, because I definitely want you guys to win. I love the apparel idea because you're looking at different things. For those of you that are listening out there, so 2 weeks ago, there was a thought about maybe we shouldn't do this time, because I was doing lots of other stuff. Business was really, really busy. And the thought was, well, what if we don't do 1,000 Black Boys next week? What if we cancel it? And I was able to catch the thought, because quite often when you're going to do something, the thought you have is so reasonable and it seems so logical, and you think it actually makes sense. Courage is you go past that thought. You act in the face of it. You act in the face of your reasons and circumstances, and you go for what you really want. So the fact that this is happening right now, it's proof to you that courage works. Courage is, along with vulnerability, is this kind of energy mechanism. It's a way of thinking that you can access to produce results. And Tyrone said earlier when he started LD and RBS, he said blind faith. Like I live and say, just pure faith, where you don't need to see it. You just need to believe it, and you just need to want it. And Martin Luther King said that faith is taking the first step without seeing the whole staircase. You basically take the step and you keep on going, and then you keep on going, and at one point you're like, oh wow, look at what I've done. What's happened here? So just to definitely leave you with that. That's what these guys have done. That's what LD and RBS have done and are doing. And they've grown their social media following by about 9,000, almost 10,000, from 14 to 22. That's 8,000, 8,500 people during lockdown. Yeah,
it's crazy. And just to kind of add on that as well, Ade, even if you ask Ty, so with our YouTube with our interviews, we put it all on the LD and RBS YouTube channel, right? And even last year, I was always kind of getting, I guess, in a way, having that element of self-doubt, because I was saying to Ty, we're interviewing these great people, Ty. Why is no one watching it? We was only getting a couple hundred views. The channel only had maybe just under 1,000 subscribers. And I was saying, Ty, I was getting really frustrated because I was like, what's going on? What are we doing wrong here? This and that. And I started to lose the faith in that sense on it. I was like, are we doing the right thing? Should we stop? And it was Ty that had to say, he always, and this is why he always inspires me, because he always tells me and he always teaches me about, organic growth, and that our time will come, and when it happens. And then even all now, like one of our interviews with Munya Chihuahua has 100,000 views. Now, if you were to ask me, thank you. If you were to ask me personally on my presenting journey, I'm 3 years into my journey now as a presenter. If I would already have an interview that's on 100,000 views, I would laugh in your face. So it's just a prime example, and this is why I'm lucky to have Tyrone and Tykese, because when I still sometimes, and they'll tell you, I'm an emotional wreck. I'll sometimes come to them, I'm like, I can't do this. I don't know if I should interview this person. What do you think? This and that. And they'll just say to me, like, and we all kind of balance each other out, even like with Keezy and his music. We give each other advice all the time. And that's why it's very, very important to surround yourself with people who want to see you win, first of all, but also have the same energy as yourselves and can help you and elevate you. Because I feel like for me personally, there's times when I lose the faith, and then them two are always there to kind of bring me back to reality. And the proof is in the pudding. As you said, the following has grown. Like, even when we ended up on like I'm Just Bay and Made You Think and these pages, and it was just like, what, this is crazy. Like, could have never imagined it. And that was just simply from doing the rap battle competition, which was just an idea. It's crazy.
Brilliant. Brilliant. And just to ask as well, so let's say someone's watching this. I know you guys are doing lots of interesting on Insta. Take easy.
Yeah, I just wanted to say as well, if anyone is watching this right now and they need any help with writing, producing, getting involved with radio, filming, anything creative, just ping us just send us an email to info@ldnrbs.com or DM us, Nyamka, Ty, personally, even myself personally. My Instagram is Ty Keezy, that's TYKEEZI, and just reach out to me and I'll be there to support you with whatever you need. I have a lot of connections. We have a lot of connections to a lot of creatives, and yeah, I'll be more than happy to help anyone with, even if it's just guidance or advice. I often get a lot of people reaching out to me asking me, oh, how do I, can you help me write a song or anything like that? And I'm always, there to do. I love doing stuff like that. Just like Ade has helped me with my mental health and coaching over the years. I can now give that and pass that on to other people around me. So yeah, definitely reach out to us.
Brilliant, guys. Yeah, definitely, 100%. If you guys are okay with it, we'll have you come back in December, share your journey, because we want to close the year out in style. And so I want to give you a chance. Talk about the spotlight. So somebody wants to get involved with what LDNRBS are doing. So there's the info@ldnrbs.com. How can somebody get involved with the spotlight?
All across the board. In terms of if someone had a business sponsorship, can get involved and be behind the scenes of the show. If you wanted to be an artist and have your music featured, you could also do that. And then if you were an artist that you feel like you want to be involved in the spotlight, just look out for it. I feel like the spotlight has been a genuine healer almost for a lot of people. It's a talent show, but it's a genuine talent show. It's energy. It's great presenters. Like Nya is one of them, and it's just honest. And it really isn't just about the talent. And we've experienced loads of amazing little stories on the spotlight. To me, even I created the spotlight, but I'm a fan just watching my peers be the ones that actually deliver it. So I'm a fan myself. I love the show in general, and the shows that's coming up, it will be bigger and better, and I'm looking forward to it. So yeah, look out for it.
Awesome. Well, great to have you guys on. The LDNRBS team, you guys have been amazing. You guys are doing great things and an inspiration to lots of people out there. So really, from all of us, 1,000 Black Boys, the team of Get Hetch, well done. Keep going.
Thank
Keep going.
you. Thank you to you guys.
No, our pleasure. And enjoy the rest of your Saturday evening.
Thank you. And also, Ade, just want to say massive thank you for giving us the opportunity, but also massive respect for what you do, which is why I wanted you on my show, because I feel like I'm very passionate about young Black men and about wanting them to be successful and not just think that if they're not a rapper or they're not a footballer that they can't be anything. And what you and Get Hench and 1,000 Black Boys do is an example of the support that is needed to get young Black boys in particular from this gang life on ends and all that rubbish that doesn't, that there's no future in. So just massive thank you, and anything that I can do to support it, I always will, 100%.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. Thank you. All right, guys, great to have you. Thank you very much, guys. We'll be in contact anyway. I want you guys to win, so we'll be speaking.
100%. Thank you, everyone, for watching. Remember to follow us on LDNRBS.
LDNRBS. We're going to put your details on our website as well. People have all your details as well. So,
cool.
So the following's going to grow.
Amazing. Thank you so much.
See you later.
Bye.
Bye. So it's great having those guys on. Absolutely amazing. And like, wow. So basically, I gave them more time because I just think they do some phenomenal work, and I think they're true inspirations. the things that they do is incredibly inspirational for lots of people, especially for young people. So you can see that you can make it, regardless of what COVID has given us, regardless of what we're seeing, regardless of furlough, redundancy, regardless of all of that stuff, that we can definitely make this all happen. So I'm going over to my screen on this side. So we're going to close up. I'm aiming that we close up at 6:30. So even though we gave the LD RBS team a bit more time, let's see if this is working with me here. Please bear with me. We're nearly there. I'm going to go to this one. We're so close. Come on, work with me. Yeah. I want to get a new laptop. This is going super slowly. But then again, I've had this laptop since 2010. My MacBook. I'm quite attached to it. So I think it's time for an upgrade. So let me share my screen with you while this is loading up. So a big thank you to all of you who were on yesterday. Thank you to all of you who have been on today. Thank you for all your questions. And I'm going to give a shout out. Where is it? So Jay from Nottingham mentioned something about her husband's music. So what did she say here? Let's give me pin this one. So my husband Trevor Tommy Warner Edinburgh wrote Choose Life, sung by Lisa Hendricks, produced by Stanley Jr. Ryan Benjamin Warner Edinburgh. I hope that goes. So well done, congratulations, and if we can support that in any way, let us know. If we can share that on our platform, we'll do that. I want just to give her a shout out. So we're closing this. We're finishing. If you just give me to, let's say, 32, so I'll go over by 2 minutes. But literally, incredible day full of inspirational speakers. We had Marcia and Anya really kick us off, and then we spoke with the team at Open Palm. So Ralph and Sophie, amazing work that they're doing. They introduced their program. Marcia also introduced the program as well at Ultra Education. And then we had a conversation with Ajani on a very important and delicate subject that young Black men have dealt with trauma in the past, and young boys have dealt with trauma in the past. And it's a place for them to really open up and really be vulnerable. And having that vulnerability allows them to just be themselves, to be who they really are, and to let their light shine. And then we just had a conversation with the LD and RBS team, which has been absolutely amazing. And I hope you find it very, very inspirational. So we're going to be setting up our GoFundMe very, very shortly. So this is all self-funded by me and the team. We did get some support for our event in June, but we do this out of passion because we want to make a difference. And we're not going to wait for someone else to do it. If we want to make a difference, we'll make a difference. So we'll set up very, very shortly. Let's have a look. It's changing over. Yes. I'm going to tell you about our future dates. I've mentioned it. So we've got 2 future dates already in the diary, one for December and one for January. So our next one is going to be on the 11th of December, 2020. It's going to be a Friday evening. And literally with that event, it's going to mark our 8th year, sorry, our 2nd year anniversary. We essentially started on the 8th of December, 2018. So the December one, we're going to go big. It'd be great to have you come along. You can register for free on Eventbrite, so that's open for you to register for that already. So that would definitely happen. And we're going to probably do a longer day with more people. Longer day with more people. That's going to be on the 11th of December, 2020. We're going to start, I'm thinking 3:30 p.m. again, and we'll go on to like say 7:30, maybe 8 p.m. in the evening, and you're going to love it. 3 quotes to leave you with. I want you to know that 2020 is definitely not cancelled. From all of our speakers, what's been consistent is that great things never come from comfort zones. Great things never come from comfort zones. So it's okay to be uncomfortable. It's okay to not have all the answers. But what's important is that you get out of your comfort zone and you keep on acting. The second quote for you. So these are quotes that I love. And for this next one, please be aware, I'm not dissing Toyota. I'm not dissing Toyotas. I'm highlighting the power of the journey and how you can keep on going on regardless of what happens. So when things don't happen right away, just remember, it takes 6 months to build a Rolls Royce and 13 months or 13 hours to build a Toyota. I'm going to say that again. Always remember, when things don't happen right away, just remember it takes 6 months to build a Toyota and 13 hours, no, 6 months to build a Rolls Royce and 13 hours to build a Toyota. So what I was talking about is when you're going through the downs and it's taking a while, when you're dealing with the moments of friction or you're dealing with the unknown, like we've seen for a big chunk of 2020, understand that it's a part of the journey. The finished article is what it's really about. And almost like the more challenging it is sometimes, embrace it, because you're building something beautiful. You're building something that once it's finished, everyone's going to be like, wow, that's amazing. Just like whenever we see a Rolls Royce, it's taken 6 months to get there. And then this last one, my quote number 3 for you. Don't let the fear of losing be greater than the excitement of winning. So don't let the fear of losing be greater than the excitement of winning. From all of our speakers, you see that they were really excited about the future. Marcia called it, she said, dare to dream. Promise you, step forward, go forward. The future is more beautiful than you know. And the actions you take right now is what makes that a reality. And also importantly, you learn from the past experiences, from what's happened, but don't look there. Don't stay there, because you're not going that way. All right. So let the excitement of the future, of winning, let that be what pulls you forward. And we should, yes, sharing this one. So Nyamka mentioned it, Ty mentioned it. So I do coaching as well. I run a company called Get Hench. Those of you that were on yesterday, you would have seen the session that we did on the mindset session about perception. So the really great news is we have been able to launch a 6-week program for Black boys and young Black men, so age 13 to 17-year-olds. We're going to start in November, early November. We're just finalizing the dates right now. The really great thing about this program is we've got some funding for it. We've got some funding that's allowed us to significantly reduce the rate for the program. So we've got space on that program for 10 Black boys, age 13 to 17. And look, listen, if a child's 11 and they're really ready for this program, we'll take them on. If they are, let's say, 18, 19, and they're really ready for the program, we'll also take them on. What I want to say about that is the program normally is $397. So it's normally £397 for this program for young entrepreneurs. We're giving them the mental skills that they need to be resilient. People might say, be more confident, be more resilient, but they never tell you how do you do that. I specialize in mindset training and leadership development. It's what I do. It's what I love. I'm one of the leading mindset and leadership coaches in Europe. And I've created a program specifically for young entrepreneurs, and this will be delivered specifically for Black boys. So we're going to start that in early November, and the program has been reduced to £97. Why? Because the organization that's funding us has paid £300 towards it per child for the 10 children. So that's 76% already covered, and there's 24% left to go. So it's £97 for our 6-week program, which will give your children incredible tools to go and build their businesses, to be resilient, to build their confidence, to create incredible things. And if you're interested in that, or if you've got more questions, put me an email. Send me an email. And my details are coming up very, very shortly. It's going to come up very, very shortly. Like I said, I need to get a new laptop. So, no, let's go back a second. There we go. It's loading up. So that's my email address. You can email me on my Get Hench one. You can email me on my 1000 Black Boys one. And I'd be happy to have a conversation with you. So we do need somebody on there. So the people that will be on the program have to do every single session. It's a part of building the muscle in terms of resilience. That whether or not you feel like it or you don't feel like it, you still show up. That consistency is incredible power. Okay, bear with me. Okay. And as we are closing, you can definitely also follow us. There you are, on Instagram and Twitter. You can also like our page on Facebook. We're also on YouTube. If you like YouTube, you're a YouTube kind of person, please just follow us on there as well. Follow us on there because we're going to be putting out some of this material over the coming weeks, coming months. We're also going to put material on there from our previous sessions, so you got more access to inspiration. You can continue to be inspired. And thank you for being on. Hey, finished on time. It's 29. So yes. So thank you very much for being on. Thank you for trusting us. Thank you for your time. We hope this has been inspirational, and we will see you on our 2nd year anniversary on the 11th of December. You can join our mailing list as well through our website, and we'll keep you informed. But all the best. Have a great rest of the year. And remember, let's transform the world, which is our slogan at 1000 Black Boys. So let's transform the world. Bye-bye, everybody. See you later.